Good evening. Oh my God, that's worse than being muted. Yet I'm blind. Lord help me. I can't see. Oh, focus. Come on. You can do it. You can do it. Just like the power of Jesus, it compels you to focus. It's like Betty Hinn. I go, flat. Anyways, good evening, everybody. This is a Thursday night show. Welcome, welcome, welcome. My name is Sean, also known as Potentially Criminal. I am a defense attorney in the Cleveland area, and obviously, yes, this is a Thursday night show. We do it every week at 9:30. Thank you all for being here. We are live on Rumble, Twitch, and YouTube. And last but not least, we are also on Locals. And what's Locals, you may ask? Well, it's at potentiallycriminal.locals.com. It's just like Patreon, except Patreon doesn't, Patreon screws you if you don't do what they like, and you become unfavored politically. Well, Locals, there's none of that. You just get to do your thing, and they respect you and leave you alone. So over at potentiallycriminal.locals.com, you can join for free. It costs you nothing. You get to be part of the community. We have a wall. Things we post up there, things we're talking about, all kinds of stuff happens. I'll post announcements for things where I'm going. If there's pretty cool cases or anything that comes out that's new in the news, we will cover that there. You can also post things, and then other people can post things, and then you guys can all yell at each other about how you're all wrong, or you can yell at me and tell me why I'm wrong, or I can yell at all of you and tell you why you're all wrong. You get to do that there. You can enjoy that. Now, if you do wish to support me, it's $3 a month. That's the least they let me charge. And for that $3 a month, if you pay for 10 months, you get 2 months free. With that, you get access to the live shows, which I really think are really the best value around. I mean, you can't beat it. We do 2 shows a week. We do a Monday night show starting about 8:30-ish. Sometimes that also turns into 9 o'clock. And we go for quite a while. Our Locals limits us to about 3 hours. So normally we run the clock out on that. And then every Thursday night, so after this show, we always do an after show. Lately we've gone kind of long, so those shows have been a little short, but tonight we're going to try to be a little more short, a little more concise, and we do that immediately afterwards. And that's at Locals, and you guys can do it with your support there. If you guys want to try the shows and do all of that for free, you can use the promo code Booger Sugar, and you get 1 month free access completely. So I'd welcome you guys to try it. I hope to see you there. And also, I forgot to mention, we do have a live chat every Thursday night that goes during the show. And if you guys put any memes or anything up there that, well, you got to do whatever you want over there. And whether or not I can show them here, that's a separate matter, but I could certainly laugh at them if you post them. And that is open to actually everybody. That's not just open to supporters. And that's over on potentiallycriminal.locals.com. Now, guys, there's a lot going on tonight. We are going to cover former President Trump's acceptance speech tonight, the RNC. It's an election year, guys. It's a pretty big one. And to be fair, when we get to the DNC, whoever that actually is going to be, because it's not clear that it's going to be Joe Biden at this point. I'm not sure it's going to be Kamala Harris either, given what's going on. So we're going to have to take a look at that. We're going to have to take a look. Yes, Karen is saying Booger Sugar is not for kids. Correct. Can we watch Hulk Hogan at the RNC? I know he's on right now. He did say something really, really funny. He called him Donald Dick J. Trump. And I'm like, that's a pretty good nickname. We'll accept it. Hella is saying, hi, Hella is saying $3 on Aussie dollar dues is $20. Ooh. We're not watching Hulk cut a promo. I mean, I'm listening to him in the background, and he's on a tear. I mean, he looks pretty good. I mean, he's not looking too bad right now. If you guys haven't seen him, the Hulkster's running wild, but it makes you wonder how he survived all these years. It makes you wonder. And we'll have him up in the background right now while we wait. We wait a couple minutes to get everybody in here because I know it takes a little while for people to show up. Also, I know we're competing against we're competing against this. So I know that a lot of people are going to be spending their time tonight watching this. With that being said, there is a serious issue that we never got to talk about. And that it's July 18th. And I think it needs to be addressed every year. So we're going to come back to this in a minute. And it's a really sad thing that occurred. We're not going to get the chance to address it this year because it's not the 20th. But there's an unsolved mystery. And it's this: the death of a woman in Massachusetts in Chappaquiddick named Mary Jo Kopechne. Allegedly, as the legend says, that a man named Edward Kennedy, who was a senator, was in a car that narrowly plunged off the bridge. He was able to escape, but somehow Mary Jo couldn't get out. And she happened to be a campaign worker for Ed's brother, Senator Robert F. Kennedy. So it's something that was never addressed. And sadly, Ted Kennedy got to shuffle off this mortal coil without actually being held responsible for it. So just something to think about. It's an unsolved crime, chat. An unsolved crime. Just absolutely sad. Something to think about. Something to think about. This year in 1969, even though it says July 20th, it was July 18th. So, but sad it happened, and sad nobody was ever held accountable. Are you saying he intentionally drove into the water to kill this woman? No, I'm saying he got drunk and committed aggravated vehicular manslaughter. I'm saying he got drunk, drove into the water, and didn't get her out, and he's responsible for murdering her. So, Walter Malone saying, is she the lobotomized Kennedy? No, Mary Jo Kopechne was Ted Kennedy's girlfriend. Rosemary Kennedy is the one who got lobotomized. Bizen says, I remember reading about this. Yeah. Somehow Ted and Rick made it out of the car, ran down the road. Help. Oh, darn. She's dead already. Oops. Yeah. Was Ted drunk? Well, nobody really knows. He told police, Kennedy told police he repeatedly dived in the pond to see if she was still trapped, but he couldn't do anything. Oh, womp womp. He tried. He didn't go to and the neat thing is the police didn't make him go to the station until about 10 a.m. It's gotta be neat. I'm sure we'd all get that. There. Amateur Conquest, is it really unsolved? Well, technically. I think it's unresolved. And Bifron saying the McMahons are full Republicans. They are. Vince McMahon is him and Donald Trump are buddies. That's why Trump was on WWE. That was him and Vince set that up. So, are we going to see Fitty? I don't know. If Fitty's out there. So, I'm not sure. So let's see, what else do we have here tonight? We got a couple super chats we got to get out of the way quick here. Stephen Cooper says, yes, Tedward Kennedy. Oh gosh. This is this Billy Graham? I think it is.
We come before you this evening with grateful hearts.
I think it's Billy Graham out there.
Thank you for saving the life of President Donald J. Trump. In his own words, it was you and you alone who saved him. We pray for the others that were injured on Saturday, for the family who lost their loved one, Put your loving arms around them. Comfort them, and may they sense your presence. We stand before you tonight. We say thank you for the provisions you have given to the United States of America. You have blessed this country more than any country in the world. Sadly, as a nation, we have forgotten who is responsible for all the freedoms, the liberties, and the bounty that we enjoy. It has all come for you. Thank you. This evening, our nation is in trouble. We're divided politically, racially, economically, with millions of people seeking refuge and hope in our dry and thirsty land. You're the only one who can fix the complexity of the problems that we face today. We pray for President Trump, that you would give him wisdom, strength, and a clear vision for the future of this nation and the task that is at hand. Continue to protect him from his enemies. I pray that you would surround him with men and women who will give him sound counsel and guidance. We pray for Melania, for Barron, and for all the President Trump's children and grandchildren. We pray for Senator J.D. Vance, his wife Usa, along with their young family. We're thankful for his strong stand for defending life. As your word instructs, we also pray for the leaders of our nation, whether they're Republican, Democrat, or Independent. We know that all authority comes from you. You are a great God, and we ask that if it be thy will, that you will make America great once again. And we ask that you'll unite our hearts, bring us together, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And we pray this in the mighty name of my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. Amen.
Sorry, chat. Just took a second there. Sorry about that. Hopefully nobody left. Anyway, Stephen Cooper also said, interesting that the worst of the Ford brothers is the only one who was unalive to natural causes. Yes. He survived long enough. Okay, I don't really, blah, 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 the Trump brothers, boys, yeah, whatever. We could skip them. Vince is worth $3 billion, yeah. Yes, Mary Jo was found trying to get to an air pocket. Yes, she was. Oh, I forgot to mute. We're gonna just...
8 years ago,
yeah.
my father sat our family down.
So, blah, 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 blah. Let's wait till the Magic Man does it. It's because his Secret Service agents were Z tier. Oh, yes. Yeah, Billy's dead, yes. It's this guy cocktail. Oh my god. Yes, this is Franklin Graham. That was Billy. It's not Billy Graham. Franklin Graham. Yes, heir to the great Graham cracker fortune. The whole audience is sleeping. You guys are awful. No, I was not sleeping tonight. Jeez. All right, what's the dirt on Vance? I don't know. They've all got some dirt or something stupid on them. Who knows? They all do. That's what all politicians do. Parallax says, member for 20 months. That Parallax, that's really cool. Thank you for sticking around. How do I feel about super chats being tax-free, bitch? That would be hilarious if they were considered tax-free. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. If Trump did that, that would be like the best thing ever. It's like, I think you should consider them tax-free, but because when you're doing this, technically you're counting as like self-employed, that's considered income. But yes, I'm being people are voluntarily compensating me for my service. I think it should be a tip, but oh well. Yes, allegedly the RNC broke Grindr in Wisconsin because it's not like there weren't enough homos there already. But no, guys, super chats are really not considered tips. They're not. I wish they would. Robert Lawrence is an old boss of Vance, claims he's not like how he's portraying. Of course. Maybe he is, maybe he isn't. Who really knows? And you know what, guys? If you're voting for these people, think you're voting for the Pope. You're not. You're voting for the guy who's going to screw you over the least. And that's how you have to look at it. If you don't, well, you're going to get let down a lot. If you go into it thinking, well, this guy's going to screw me less, at least you're being honest with yourself. Stephen Cooper gifted 10 memberships. Thank you, Stephen. Thank you. Yeah, SUFA IRS. Yeah, did you hear Xi Jinping had a stroke? Allegedly. I don't think that's been confirmed. So, I don't think any of us. Stephen Cooper says, are gifts considered towards the $15K gift? You mean the gifting tax amount? No. The way the gifting tax, if you're asking about, you're not trying to make a smart ass joke about the local's 5K gift. The way at federal tax law works, if you had $1 million, you could give that $1 million to somebody, all of it, but you would have to pay a tax on that. Now, otherwise, I could walk down the street with $15,000 and go 15 to everybody I had till my money's all gone, and there's no gift tax. Remember, the person giving the gift has to pay the tax. The tax is not on the person receiving. But if you're under $15,000, it's $15,000 per person. You're not limited to one $15,000 gift a year. You're limited to one gift a year per person, but you can also do it to an infinite number of people. So, for example, Trump could not give me $15,000 in April, and then in August turn around and give me another $15,000 without him incurring the gift tax. But Donald Trump could sit there and just start loading up a T-shirt cannon with wads of $15,000, a big wad, and just thoomph at every person he sees, and that's fine. I'm giving $15K. No, the gift limit's now 17. Yeah, it keeps going up. It keeps going up with inflation. There's access the gift tax unless it's inheritance tax, and the inheritor pays the tax. There's different issues with all those. When it comes to an inheritance, you're dealing with different things. You're dealing with state taxes a lot, and not everywhere has an inheritance tax. I'm talking about as a live gift. They call it a testate gift. So if I'm alive and I give somebody $15,000, that's fine. If I gave them 20, I have to pay the tax on it. So that's what I was trying to get to there. And then also, just real quick here, there's only a handful of states that have an inheritance tax / an estate tax. Most states don't have them. I mean, generally, it's like most of the East Coast states have it, and then I think a couple out west. But generally, most of America does not have an estate tax or an inheritance tax. And I think the idea of inheritance tax is communist as all fuck anyway. Sean's hoping all of chat gives him 15K. That would be fun. That would be fun. Trenton says it's the best estate planning you can do. Give gifts over time that are tax free. Well, I mean, if you're under $5 million, you're gonna hide from. You don't trip the federal estate tax anyway. So ultimately, it doesn't really matter unless you live in a state with inheritance or estate taxes. But if you really do want to know what to do and what's the best idea, talk to a licensed attorney and financial planner in your. Hold on one second, guys. I was out there doing 2.0 things, and I didn't know what was going on. Parallax says, I don't know how to state tax is legal. Here's how it's legal. The government says, pay us or we'll kill you. That's how it's legal. So, is that a CPA? No, I'm talking about a certified financial planners, estate planners, financial parties, attorneys. You need to work with teams. Try to work with somebody that's got a little bit of everything. They work with a team of people. There's a lot you can do out there. Does Clyde give good financial advice? No, he always talks about buying Clyde coin, so we're not going to do that. We're not going to do that, chat. We're not taking Clyde coin. Big Peacenik says over on Rumble, type HH in the chat for Hulk Hogan. No. We're not doing that. We're not doing that. All right, guys. We got really quick. Let's move on to a story. We got a couple little stories we can knock out here, and I want to do these pretty quick. I think they're worth getting into. The first and foremost, we'll start with some updates on things going on in Donald Trump's world, including what's going on in Georgia. So if you guys were not aware, in the Georgia case, they have sought appeal of all the issues with Judge McAfee. And the Court of Appeals in Georgia said, cool, we'll listen to your case. And they released an order 2 days ago, July 16th. And it's the state of Georgia versus Michael Roman, Mark Meadows, Donald Trump, Rudy, and then Jeff Clark, to name a couple of the parties. So they requested oral arguments in this. And this involves whether or not the indictment could be dismissed, whether or not what Fannie and Nathan Wade were doing was kosher, and what could be done about it. Well, those oral arguments are going to be heard December 5th, 2024. So and that's dated then. So yeah, all done. It's not happening till way after the election. So I know a lot of people out there are upset. People on Twitter were losing their damn mind. But womp womp. Luke says, aren't we missing like a half dozen defendants? Well, remember, not everybody appealed. And a bunch of people already took a knee. Like Jenna Ellis, Sidney Powell, Kenneth Chesbro. A bunch of people took a knee already. So it will be very interesting to see how that shakes out. But yes, a lot of people aren't on here. And then it turns out, are those people still going to be protected by all the stuff here if they didn't raise the appeal? That's not necessarily established yet. But for Trump and the team, they've got to get through the first hurdle of getting the court to support them. So first things first. Yes, you're excluding the deal people. Yes, 19 people were indicted. 5 have pled. So yes, there are many more out there. Trump gave the mic to Dana White. No, he didn't, did he? I was about to say, don't say that, because I want to see Dana White come out there and talk. Is he supposed to talk tonight? Dana White is? Because that'll be pretty good. Mike said, give, not gave. No. So that is the interesting spot we're in right now with the Georgia case. And then from here, and I'm keeping my eyes on the clock, chat, because Trump's supposed to go on about 5 minutes. The next thing that happened for Trump was the matter, we covered this on Monday, is the case out of Georgia. I'm sorry, not Georgia, Florida. We covered this already. We covered this on Monday. We went through the whole actual opinion. Judge Cannon dismissed the classified documents case against former President Trump and his 2 aides. Now, why did she do it? Well, she ruled that Jack Smith, the special counsel, didn't actually hold a position that is authorized under the Appointments Clause of the United States Constitution, therefore should be dismissed on those grounds. And then also he was withdrawing money from the Independent Counsel Fund, which he wasn't entitled to do under federal law. And because of those, she nuked the case. Now, remember, I said this at the time. This is a procedural dismissal. This is not a dismissal on the merits. If there's ways it can be fixed, let's say the 11th Circuit agrees with Judge Cannon. I don't think they're going to. Let's say they agree with her. Let's say SCOTUS agrees with her. If there was a way for them to fix it, they would allow it, and they'll go back to take care of it. But by that time, the election will be over, and likely Trump will have won. Now, if the 11th Circuit still says no, Judge Cannon's wrong, it's going to take a couple of months anyway, and the election will be over by then anyway. So, very much Trump still wins no matter what here. This is going to be delayed way after, and I think very much Trump will probably likely be okay anyway because he's probably going to win. Yeah. Nick Ricciardi said I could store classified documents in my local torta shop. Bish? You shouldn't do that. Then there becomes the issue of the presidential immunity, having documents taken while you're leaving. That's actually probably going to be considered a role part of your office, or at least within the circumference of those things talked about, that at that point you take them, you're allowed to take them, and you're immune from that action. So I think he's probably okay anyway there. And no, which Trump is this? Eric or Don? I think this is Eric Trump. This is Eric Trump, right? I don't particularly like him compared to Donald Jr. So we're gonna skip him for now. So with that being said, the case is not over for Trump. It's not over, but it's getting there. Now, in addition to this, special counsel has already said he plans to appeal. And here's the thing. Even though the judge said you don't have the authority to do all of this, that doesn't mean anything because that's just her opinion at this point. It hasn't been solidified. And yes, the brave Jack Smith, I'm going to appeal, is going to appeal it. We'll see what happens there. I mean, I would love for him to be told suffer, but I don't know that's going to happen. We'll see. Remember, the government's not big at screwing over the government routinely. That's a thing they don't like doing. And I've stressed that a lot in life and the show. Now, the other thing, if you guys aren't aware, we covered it. It's 93 pages long. It is a titan of stuff to read through. And it does mainly focus on the appointments clause of the United States Constitution, Article 2, Section 2, Clause 2. And whether or not Jack Smith should have been appointed, because the argument they make is, and Judge Cannon makes ultimately, is he's operating as a super United States attorney. He basically gets to operate as U.S. attorney, go everywhere he wants, and do anything he wants, but he's not subject to any oversight. The president doesn't appear the president has the ability to fire him. Certainly, if that were to happen, people would run around screaming with their heads on fire. But that is the issue. So I think there's a lot there, but we'll see. And that it's not over. It is not over. Someone said, Cannon, let me make sure I explain this well enough. Sure, and I agree. But it doesn't take much for the Court of Appeals to go, nah, honey, you got it wrong. Completely wrong. Nope. We're moving. I see that being an issue there. So, yes, the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals. I'm not sure they're going to have her back on this one, Chet. I'm not so sure about that. We'll find out, though. Johan Axel says, Nick Ricciardi said that Eric July planted those documents in the trunk of his Mustang. Yes, along with the help of the CPS department, they planted those. Yes. Chief Felt and Alicia Sweet, they planted the documents, chat. It was all coordinated. Robert Lawrence is speaking of Eric Hunley, guys from Unstructured and America's Untold Stories, which I could say it. The one thing Robert Barnes does really was when he introduced that. That's with him and Mark Robert. Are supposed to have an interview on his channel next week with Seth Kenny. And Seth Kenny was the guy who was giving, I think, Eric had gotten in contact with to provide a lot of information. I'm supposed to want to set the record straight. Guys, that's going to be a kill. That should be a really good interview to watch. I would very much be interested in that one. That could be very good because that'll dovetail nicely into the next thing. Alec Baldwin. And yes, if you guys did remember, we covered it last week. Alec Baldwin's case was dismissed with prejudice last Friday. Yes, Seth Kenny, the guy who may have helped commit involuntary manslaughter. Yes. So, guys, if you don't remember, Alec Baldwin did get the charges against him dismissed. And hold on here. Oh no. Friendly fire chat. Clyde, this is all your fault. Clyde bumped me and you were in the way. It's okay. Rest in RIP, rest in pepperoni, Zag. You'll be back. Luke says, I did not say may, fat man. I know you didn't, but I have to for legal purposes. Maijin Lucian is a new member. Thank you for being here. I appreciate that. Welcome. You're going to enjoy it here. Big P says it's being streamed on a different account from my last live stream. Really? I hate that with Rumble where you have like all the different accounts for stuff, and even when you sign up, that's not the account. Yeah. That's the crappy part about Rumble. It's a crappy part about Rumble. So it's Clyde against the world. Yes, Clyde is tough. Jonathan's been remembered 2 months. Says Martin Luther King had a dream. Wax on, wax off. Oh no. Johan Naxos gifted 10 memberships. Thank you very much for the support, man. I appreciate it. Yes, and Luke, we are gonna guys, I'm trying to slow play this because it's 10 o'clock and okay, we are okay, guys, we're gonna switch over to this because it's about to happen. And also one of the best James Brown songs ever, Living in America. Find a celebration. Bum, 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 bum. Welcome to the Celeb Club. Yes, Boogie, that was a rough thing to watch last night. And guys, I know normally we don't cover the political stuff like this, but this is actually pretty important, I think. I think it's worth covering. And like I said, when the Democrat National Committee is going, we're going to be covering that too. Like I said, saying who's there right now, it's going to be very, very weird. I'm going to be very surprised who's there, who's not there. Yes, he just finished. I know. I've had him on in the background. We have the Trump to attend to, yes. We don't call it Rubble for nothing, yeah. This band is pretty good. They're called Six Wire. They've been doing stuff for decades now. Toto Vader. Oh yeah, well. Yeah, well, hold off on the DMCA. Played by the whitest boomers ever. Yeah, it is. But you know what? When you've listened to their music the entire time, it's been straight boomer music. It's been straight boomer music. That is that's been the funny part about it. It's like the rise of the boomers. They're Give it another 20 years, and the cover band's going to be playing like, Limp Bizkit covers, and I'm like, that's when I'll know the millennials have arrived. This is why I'm skipping Rob. Sorry. Yes, Apollo Creed disagrees. This is a bad forbearer. I mean, guys haven't seen a Rocky IV. Apollo Creed has a bad night when the song plays. Who's going to be the new nominee? I don't know. I don't know who the new nominee is going to be. I don't think Biden's going to last. I need a train whistle. Do not encourage people. Will it be Gavin Newsom? I don't think so. I think he pulls way too bad. Alec says, are these guys local to Wisconsin? No. These guys are out of Nashville. Jonathan says, you can't DMCA living in America while living in America. Yes. But I am serious. That is probably the best. Like, it's the best James Brown song. I had my wrestling coach. He always had the Rocky soundtrack going because it was, music that wasn't bad. Got to listen to that a million times. But yeah, that was best when that was going, and a lot of fun. Brings back memories. Yes, in the future, the cover bands are going to be playing ICP and Imagine Dragons. Yes, that's going to be so sad when that happens. Is Biden going to drop out this weekend with that whole? Yeah, it's going to be concerning. It's going to be weird to see what happens there, because he's got COVID now. Is this going to be an excuse for him? Although I think the biggest problem he has, and I'm sure his team has thought about it, if he's unable to run, he's unable to serve. So he's going to have to leave now. And I don't see him doing that. I don't see Jill wanting to do that. I don't see Biden himself when he's lucid. I don't see people like that wanting to give up power. They don't give up power. I think Ruth Bader Ginsburg's a great example of that. She was so stubborn and she held on forever. Oh, I think here we go, chat. It's time. Oh, it's Melania? Oh. Okay, this is... All right, hold on, chat. I'll put up a poll if you guys want to watch Melania or not. If not, we'll talk about what happened with Alec Baldwin. There, I put it out. Guys, vote. Please. There's 200 some of you here, so please actually make it legitimate. I need some partial turnout. So, let's see here. It's fairly split, which I am really... Well, it's not that split. 57-43. You want to hear the accent? Oh, she's not going to speak. Okay, because I was about to say I don't want to hear her speak. I don't mind her, but... Let's see here. Press 1 to Kuma and Melania. Yeah. Okay, good. I wasn't sure. 130% voter turnout. Yes. And don't worry, chat. We'll do a last second vote infusion. We'll make the chart go boop and then over. All right, let's see. All right, let's just see this.
This is a story as uniquely American as the ideals and freedoms we all cherish. A story of a life dedicated to dreaming big. A story about giving back to the people in his beloved city. But most of all, this is a story about putting his country first. And it's a story best told in pictures. Young and confident, Donald Trump wasn't afraid to think big and build even bigger. And he left his mark on the New York skyline that greeted visitors from around the world. But he wasn't just an American entrepreneur. He became a folk hero. Celebrities and sports stars wanted to be seen with him. Politicians sought his approval. And New Yorkers just loved him. And he loved them back. And he gave back. Just one example. Saving the Woolman skating rink.
The Woolman skating rink in Central Park is open again.
Oh, I thought you said the
city
women's
spent nearly
skating
6
rink.
years and $12 million trying to fix it. And then to the rescue, developer Donald Trump. As Tracy Egan tells us now, he accomplished in 3.5 months what the city couldn't do in 6 years.
Donald, you performed a great public service.
There was no denying that Donald Trump was the toast of the town, but he was also something even more important, a patriotic American. And like many others, he was becoming increasingly troubled.
Who is
by the
this guy's
direction of the
voice?
country.
I can't tell.
I'm tired of seeing what's happening with this country, how we're really making other people live like kings, and we're not.
You've said, though, that if you did run for president, you believe you'd win.
Yes, he was.
Well, I don't know. I think I'd win. I tell you what, I wouldn't go in to lose. I've never gone in to lose in my life. And if I did decide to do it, I think I'd be inclined. I would say that I would have a hell of a chance of winning, because I think people, I don't know how your audience feels, but I think people are tired of seeing the United States ripped
Yes,
off.
this is every 90s trailer.
Who would ever run for president and leave such a glamorous life? Appearances in movies, best-selling books, a widely popular TV show. But for Donald J. Trump, the calling to save his country was even stronger. The mission, more important. The number of Americans being left behind, too large. And so, in Donald Trump fashion, he announced he was running for president, in it to win. And he did.
From his first day in office, the Washington politicians learned something about President Trump. He's not afraid to fight for what he believes in.
They also understood he was made poor
having the
personnel
courage of
choices.
your convictions. First up, the Trump tax cuts, largest in America's history, and it led to higher take-home pay for working families. Unfortunately, today, taxes are up and incomes down. The politicians just never learn. Next for President Trump, secure our border. Check.
He hired a lot of bad
Miles
people
and miles
besides
of
Bolton.
wall built. ISIS and other terrorists deterred. But now, we have the Barney Fife of border security, leading to 250,000 Americans dead from fentanyl coming in. Brutal migrant crime spreading across America. And ISIS now here. President Trump promised he'd keep America out of endless wars. Welcome words to the families of our young men and women who serve. And another promise kept. He started by strengthening our military, then traveled the world, meeting with our allies, and even with our main adversaries, just so they understood that America's strength and resolve was back. Because that's what a strong commander-in-chief does.
I mean, what do you want him to say? Of course they're gonna like. I'm just saying, man.
And our troops safe. Today, a different story.
They're not gonna talk of defending the Second Amendment. I can tell you that much.
Then set the world on fire. Putin saw it, then invaded Ukraine. Hamas saw it, then started a war in the Middle East. There's one more thing we've learned about President Trump. He believes so strongly in America, so optimistic for our possibilities,
Not yet, it's coming.
and so committed to fighting to once again make our country great, that there is nothing that is going to stop him.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Kid Rock.
Oh, okay, come on. Let's just get to the speech, please.
What up, America? If you're ready for President Trump to take the stage, I need everybody to stand. I need everybody to put a fist up in the air. Everybody, get a fist up in the air. Now follow me. Say fight, fight. Say fight, fight. Say fight, fight. That's how Trump scream. The devil without a cause. I'm back with the beaver.
The bed Davis slack, 30 pack of Stros, 30 pack of hose.
No Rogaine in the
propane flow.
The chosen one, I'm the living proof with the gift to gab from the city of truth. You know I jab, stab, and not critics back. And I
Did not stutter when I said that. Going platinum selling rhymes. Went platinum 7 times. Oh my God. This is totally like boomerfied and like Gen Xified right now. Oh my God. Yes, I'm not embarrassed. I was a white kid in 2000. Yes, I liked Kid Rock. I wish Limp Bizkit was next. That would be hilarious. Like having Trump come out to break stuff, that would be hilarious. You know. 12-year-old people had an epileptic seizure. Yes, they did, I'm sure. Yeah, this is just off. How old am I? I'm 38. So, yeah, back when Kid Rock was like blowing it up, yes, I was running around. So, where is the I mean, it'd be better if he had done Kid Rock Forever. I just think that's got a catchier. I think it's got a catchier, like it's a catchier song than American Badass. I'm just saying, like, 'cause I think there are some Kid Rock songs that aren't bad. But like if they're gonna do this, they need to do like, you remember like when they did the Ball at the Bob music video and there's like dudes on like dirt bikes jumping and all that cool stuff. That's how they should have done this. That's how they should have done this. So Skills, is this really the best thing on TV? No, but I was hoping we were gonna get, you know, the Emperor of Mankind was gonna come out and speak. This is just getting ridiculous now. It just makes you wanna. Nika says, "I'll be honest, I'm feeling it." I get it. Some of you might, but I'm just notice they aren't showing the crowd. Well, I mean, what are they gonna like? Norman Kid Rock's used to chicks like whipping their shirts off and people like firing up one hitters and all that. So, yeah, he's already sweating. Yeah, well, he's getting old. He's old now. And how old's Kid Rock? Yeah, hold on 1 second. Wait, everybody doing the bandage thing? Oh, God, that's gay. Now, if they were mutilating themselves, that would be hilarious. But apparently everybody's doing the bandage thing. Kid Rock's only 53? Oof. Man, that's a rough set of years, man. It's a rough set of miles. Can you put in the show with the autistic doctor instead? Yeah. No. That man's only 53. Uh-oh. Oh, who's on now? Yeah, Kid Rock Forever would have been a better song there. You know, like, the Black Cat is back in original form. The legible, credible, inevitable storm. You know, way past the norm, still misbehaving. And this is where I wish Trump would have flipped off the guy, because it's, you know, like, middle finger in the air and the flag still waving. Like, yeah, that works. That works. But this, no, this doesn't work. Yes, well, if we're going to sacrifice him, that's fine. That's an acceptable sacrifice. We have to sacrifice him to the machine spirit. Pantera would have been better. Oh my God, if I got that, would be the most metal. That would have been awesome to have. Just fucking Pantera out there. Oh my God, I would have loved that. Oh, here we go. Dana White. This is actually worth listening to. All right, here we go. You guys don't know it's president of the UFC.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am Dana White. I am the CEO and president of the Ultimate Fighting Championship. So 2 weeks ago, I got a call from President Trump asking me if I'd be willing to speak tonight. As usual, there was no pressure, no demands. He asked me as a friend, and of course I said yes. Then, after I accepted his offer, he sent me a text message, and I just want to read to you a little piece of what President Trump wrote to me. Dana, I'm so honored that you will be doing the introduction at the National Republican Convention.
Why is he
Think
shaking?
of it as the biggest fight you ever had.
Look at his paper.
It's like for our country and even the world. I only wish you didn't have to interrupt your family trip, but I hope they understand they love you and they know how important this is.
Man, he's shaking.
Now think about this. This man's running for president of the United States. He's fighting for the future of this country, and he's concerned about interrupting my family trip. That's the President Trump that I know. A man who truly cares about people. The mainstream media likes to push the narrative that he doesn't care about anyone but himself. I absolutely know that's not the truth, because I've been friends with this guy for 25 years. And for the people who know me, they'll know this is true. I just want to make something very clear. Nobody in the Trump campaign has ever told me what to say. Nobody tells me what to say, and I'm nobody's puppet. And I'm not telling you what to think. I'm telling you what I know. And I know President Trump. I know President Trump is a fighter. I've been saying this since 2015. Now look at what's happened over the last 10 years. We have all seen it with our own eyes. I'm in the tough guy business, and this man is the toughest, most resilient human being that I've ever met in my life. The higher the stakes, the harder he fights, and this guy never, ever gives up. So what's at stake here? The answer is in President Trump's text, and I quote, "A fight for our country." I know why he's running for president again. Why else would he put himself through everything he's dealt with just to get back here? We all know he doesn't need this. This guy's got a great life. He has a beautiful family, and he has achieved everything that you could possibly achieve in life. I know President Trump is literally putting his life on the line for something bigger than himself, and he's willing to risk it all because he loves this country. And I know he wants what's best for the American people, all American people. I know he's running for president to save our American dream. I'm living the American dream, and I know the American dream is very real. Whether you were born in this country or came here from someplace else, this is the last real land of opportunity. President Reagan once said, government's first duty is to
yes, now I can't
the people,
stop seeing the licking
not run
too.
their lives. And if you're buried in government red tape, how will you ever start your own business? If you're struggling to pay your bills, how can you ever afford to start a family? And if you don't feel safe in your own town, why would you ever buy a house? I know that President Trump is fighting to save the American dream, and that's what's at stake in this election. We are
It's a critical vote,
who
Katie.
we want to lead us in this fight. I know President Trump is a proven leader, a fearless leader, and this country was in a much better place when he was in the Oval Office. In my mind, the choice is clear. But this election, we all get to choose. I know I'm going to choose strength and security. I know I'm going to choose opportunity and prosperity. I know I'm going to choose real American leadership and a real American badass. And I'm not telling you what choice to make, and I'm not telling you what to think. I'm telling you what I know. I know America needs a strong leader, and the world needs a strong America. I know Donald J. Trump is the best choice for President of the United States. My fellow Americans, it is my honor to introduce the 45th and soon-to-be 47th President of the United States, Donald J. Trump.
No. God, Lee Greenwood's still alive? God, I thought he was dead. How old's Lee Greenwood? How old is he? Lee Greenwood's 81. Whoo. He's hanging in there. Yes, Trump comes out and sings like halfway through. It's like a duet. He's like, thank my lucky stars, the luckiest stars. So many stars in the universe, everyone. Just the best stars to be living here today. Oh, there's some guys on TikTok who they do Trump singing various songs. It's fucking hilarious. Oh, Nick got his tattoo. Oh, yeah, I saw the pictures. Nick's getting his tattoo worked on. That's very cute. Yes, he's younger than Biden, but that's not really saying much. 900 years old. Yeah, he's getting there. Where did the hype go? Oh, it's there. Ooh, bright lights. It's lighting up my fucking mic stand. Oh, here we go. There he is. The Emperor descends upon us, chat. The Emperor of mankind.
To Houston and New York to LA. There's pride in every American heart, and it's time we stand and say.
Part of me thinks why Trump is wearing the bandage is because his injury isn't as gnarly looking as he thinks. Because if I was Trump, I'd be standing there with a gnarled up ear like that. That would look pretty badass. You go to the debate with Biden and you just have like battle damage you're displaying. I think that would be really good. I kind of get the feeling they patched him up really well. So they're using this to show he actually has an injury. That's the only thing I could think of why he still has that on. You've never heard of Lee Greenwood? Yeah, you have. You've heard the song. You've heard this song before. So, yeah, you've heard this before. Is this Crosby, Young, Steele, and Nash? No. Yes. Lou Dobbs and Bob Newhart died today. Short people live longer lives. I know. I'm going to live forever. All right. It's time, chat. Let's listen to this. Well, I turned the volume down for a second. Sorry, Soul Wound.
Thank you very much. Thank you very, very much. Wow. And thank you, Dana. Thank you, Kid Rock, sometimes referred to as Bob. And thank you, Lee, right from the beginning. Thank you very much. What a talent. What a beautiful, beautiful song. Thank you. Friends, delegates, and fellow citizens, I stand before you this evening with a message of confidence, strength, and hope. 4 months from now, we will have an incredible victory, and we will begin the 4 greatest years in the history of our country. Together, we will launch a new era of safety, prosperity, and freedom for citizens of every race, religion, color, and creed. The discord and division in our society must be healed. We must heal it quickly. As Americans, we are bound together by a single fate and a shared destiny. We rise together or we fall apart. I am running to be president for all of America, not half of America, because there is no victory in winning for half of America. So tonight, with faith and devotion, I proudly accept your nomination for President of the United States. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
This sounds like a very lethargic crowd.
Thank
Holy
you
cow.
very much. And we will do it right. Going to do it right. Let me begin this evening by expressing my gratitude to the American people for your outpouring of love and support following the assassination attempt at my rally on Saturday. As you already know, the assassin's bullet came within a quarter of an inch of taking my life. So many people have asked me, what happened? Tell us what happened, please. And therefore, I will tell you exactly what happened. And you'll never hear it from me a second time because it's actually too painful to tell. It was a warm, beautiful day in the early evening in Butler Township in the great Commonwealth of Pennsylvania.
Okay, now
Music
retarded.
was loudly playing, and the campaign was doing really well. I went to the stage, and the crowd was cheering wildly. Everybody was happy. I began speaking very strongly, powerfully, and happily, because I was discussing the great job my administration did on immigration at the southern border. We were very proud of it. Behind me and to the right was a large screen that was displaying a chart of border crossings under my leadership. The numbers were absolutely amazing. In order to see the chart, I started to, like this, turn to my right and was ready to begin a little bit further turn, which I'm very lucky I didn't do, when I heard a loud whizzing sound and felt something hit me really, really hard on my right ear. I said to myself, wow, what was that? It can only be a bullet. And moved my right hand to my ear, brought it down. My hand was covered with blood, just absolutely.
Guys, this is
blood
awful.
all over the place. I immediately knew it was
Yeah,
very
this
serious.
is Shane
that we were
Gillis. It's
under
got to be
attack.
Shane Gillis.
And in one movement proceeded to drop to the ground.
Rip it off. Show
Bullets
us, Donnie.
were
Come on.
continuing to fly as very brave Secret Service agents rushed to the stage, and they really did. They rushed to the stage.
I did. It was hilarious.
These are great
Yes,
people.
this is low energy. This is not
At
high
great
energy,
risk, I will
Donald.
tell you. And pounced on top of me so that I would be protected.
You better turn it up, J-Rock.
There was blood pouring everywhere, and yet, in a certain way, I felt very safe because I had God on my side. I felt that. The amazing thing is that prior to the shot, if I had not moved my head at that very last instant, the assassin's bullet would have perfectly hit its mark, and I would not be here tonight. We would not be together. The most incredible aspect of what took place on that terrible evening in the fading sun was actually seen later. In almost all cases, as you probably know, and when even a single bullet is fired, just a single bullet, and we had many bullets that were being fired, crowds run for the exits or stampede, but not in this case. It's very unusual. This massive crowd of tens of thousands of people stood by and didn't move an inch. In fact, many of them bravely, but automatically stood up looking for where the sniper would be. They knew immediately it was a sniper. And then began pointing at him. You can see that if you look at the group behind me. That was just a small group compared to what was in front. Nobody ran, and by not stampeding, many lives were saved. But that isn't the reason that they didn't move. The reason is that they knew I was in very serious trouble. They saw it. They saw me go down. They saw the blood and thought, actually, most did, that I was dead. They knew it was a shot to the head. They saw the blood. And there's an interesting statistic. The ears are the bloodiest part. If something happens with the ears, they bleed more than any other part of the body. For whatever reason, the doctors told me that.
There's a lot of capillaries in your ear.
Blood? He said, it's the ears. They bleed more.
Yes.
So we learned something, but they just, this beautiful crowd, they didn't want to leave me. They knew I was in trouble. They didn't want to leave me. And you can see that love written all over their faces.
I mean, I want him to come out and rub his dick on a picture of the shooter.
Incredible people. They're incredible people. Bullets were flying over us, yet I felt serene. But now the Secret Service agents were putting themselves in peril. They were in very dangerous territory. Bullets were flying right over them, missing them by a very small amount of inches. And then it all stopped. Our Secret Service sniper, from a much greater distance and with only one bullet used, took the assassin's life, took him out. I'm not supposed to be here tonight. Not supposed to be here. Yeah.
I mean, I seriously think this must have fucked with them a little bit.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's exactly what I want.
But I'm not. And I'll tell you, I stand before you in this arena only by the grace of Almighty God.
Yeah, I don't know. This is going on long enough. I think he's actually different. This isn't him just being low energy.
In
I think
watching the reports over the last few days, many people
he
say
still
it was
he
a
does sound like he's shook. I'll
providential
say it.
Moment. Probably was. When I rose surrounded by Secret Service, the crowd was confused because they thought I was dead. And there was great, great sorrow. I could see that on their faces as I looked out. They didn't know I was looking out. They thought it was over. But I could see it. And I wanted to do something to let them know I was okay. I raised my right arm, looked at the thousands and thousands of people that were breathlessly waiting, and started shouting, "Fight, fight, fight." Thank you. Once my clenched fist went up, and it was high into the air. You've all seen that. The crowd realized I was okay and roared with pride for our country like no crowd I have ever heard before. Never heard anything like it. For the rest of my life, I will be grateful for the love shown by that giant audience of patriots that stood bravely on that fateful evening in Pennsylvania. Tragically, the shooter claimed the life of one of our fellow Americans, Corey Comparator. Unbelievable person, everybody tells me. Unbelievable. And seriously wounded. Two other great warriors, spoke to them today. David Dutch and James Copenhaver. Two great people. I also spoke to all three families of these tremendous people. Our love and prayers are with them and always will be. We're never going to forget them. They came for a great rally. They were serious Trumpsters, I want to tell you. They were serious Trumpsters and still are. But Corey, unfortunately, we have to use the past tense. He was incredible. He was a highly respected former fire chief, respected by everybody. Was accompanied by his wife, Helen, incredible woman. I spoke to her today, devastated, and two precious daughters. He lost his life selflessly acting as a human shield to protect them from flying bullets. He went right over the top of them and was hit. What a fine man he was.
There you go. Wow, they brought his uniform out. Holy shit. This is powerful low energy then. Damn, I didn't think he could do it like this. Yes, he's doing fine now.
I want to thank the fire department and the family for sending his helmet, his outfit, and it was just something, and they're going to do something very special when they get it. But we did something which cannot match what happened, not even close. But I am very proud to say that over the past few days, we've raised $6.3 million.
Oh, damn.
For the families of David, James, and Corey, including from a friend of mine, just called up. He sent me a check right here. I just got it. $1 million from Dan Newland. Thank you, Dan. And again, when speaking to the family, I told them, I said, well, I'm going to be sending you a lot of money, but it can't compensate. They all said the same thing. You're right, sir. We appreciate so much what you're doing, but nothing can take the place in the case of Corey and the other two. By the way, they were very, very seriously injured, but now they're doing very well. They're going to be okay. They're going to be doing very well. They're warriors. So now I ask that we observe a moment of silence in honor of our friend Corey. There is no greater love than to lay down one's life for others. This is the spirit that forged America in her darkest hours, and this is the love that will lead America back to the summit of human achievement and greatness. This is what we need. Despite such a heinous attack, we unite this evening more determined than ever. I am more determined than ever, and so are you. So is everybody in this room. Thank you. Thank you very much. Our resolve is unbroken and our purpose is unchanged to deliver a government that serves the American people better than ever before. Nothing will stop me in this mission because our vision is righteous and our cause is pure. No matter what obstacle comes our way, we will not break, we will not bend, we will not back down, and I will never stop fighting for you, your family, and our magnificent country. Never. And everything I have to give with all of the energy and fight in my heart and soul, I pledge to our nation tonight. Thank you very much. I pledge that to our nation. We're going to turn our nation around, and we're going to do it very quickly. Thank you. This election should be about the issues facing our country and how to make America successful, safe, free, and great again. In an age when our politics too often divide us, now is the time to remember that we are all fellow citizens. We are one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And we must not criminalize dissent or demonize political disagreement, which is what's been happening in our country lately at a level that nobody has ever seen before. In that spirit, the Democrat Party should immediately stop weaponizing the justice system and labeling their political opponent as an enemy of democracy. Especially since that is not true. In fact, I am the one saving democracy for the people of our country. And very big news, as you probably just read. On Monday, a major ruling was handed down from a highly respected federal judge in Florida, Eileen Cannon, finding that the prosecutor
Hey, now
and
he's
the
getting
fake
back to fired up
documents
chat.
case against me were totally unconstitutional, and the entire case was thrown out of court. With all of that publicity, thrown out of court. If Democrats want to unify our country, they should drop these partisan witch hunts, which I have been going through for approximately 8 years. And they should do that without delay and allow an election to proceed that is worthy of our people. We're going to win it anyway, but worthy of our people. On this journey, I am deeply honored to be joined by my amazing wife, Melania. And Melania, thank you very much. You also did something really beautiful, a letter to America calling for national unity, and it really took the Republican Party by surprise. I will tell you, it was beautiful. In fact, some very serious people said that we should take that letter and put it as part of the Republican platform. That would be an honor, wouldn't it? Right, Mr. Congressman? But it captivated so many. So I also want to thank my entire family for being here. Don, Kimberly, Ivanka and Jared, Eric and Lara, Tiffany and Michael, Barron. We love our Barron. And of course, my 10 wonderful
He's out playing
grandchildren. You
Xbox,
saw a few of
screaming
them
at
up
kids.
there on my lap before. And how good was Dana? Was Dana good? I mean, was he good? He was on probably the only vacation he's had in about maybe ever, because he works, but about 10 years with his wife, very far away. I won't tell you where, but very, very far away, beautiful place. And my people called and he said, yeah, I won't be able to do it. This is many, many years. I promised my wife I can't do it. And they came in, they said, Dana won't be able to do it because he was my first, second, and third choice. I said, well, that's too bad, but I understand he's away and it's good. It's good for him. And that was it. About 30 minutes later, she came back in, sir, Dana just called, he's going to do it. And his wife, she said, you can't turn him down. You just can't do it. You have to go. That's a good wife. So he got on a plane. He got here a little while ago. Now he's going to get on the plane in a little while and he's going to go back home to his wife. But they're great. And I just want to thank her and him and their whole family because that's not easy. And Kid Rock, same thing. Called, he said, I want to be a part of it. I want to be a part because, Kid does his great song, Big, Big Monster song. I had no idea. He became a friend of mine over the last 10 years. And he's amazing. Everyone loves him. I didn't even know how big he was. He has rallies, 35, 40,000 people he gets every time he goes out. I think he's making so much money, he doesn't know what the hell to do with it. You want to know? And then we have my other friend, and I've known him so long, and we took that song, and it was a big success, but we made that. I saw a chart of great songs to America. That was #1 on the chart recently, #1. So that's Lee Greenwood, a very special, beautiful person. He's a beautiful man. but they all wanted to be here. They called. And how about the Hulkster? How good was he? Is he up? Where is he? Boy, oh boy. You know, they may call that entertainment. I know about entertainment, but when he used to lift a 350-pound man over his shoulders and then bench press him 2 rows into the audience, I say maybe entertainment, but he is one strong son of a gun. I will tell you, I watched it many times. There aren't a lot of entertainers that can do that, right? You were fantastic. Thank you very much. Followed by Eric. What was that all about? Boy, that was good. I didn't want to really come up here. But he was so great, and he's such a good young man. He went through a lot of trouble, and Don last night was incredible. They went through so much trouble. They got subpoenaed more than any people probably in the history of the United States. Every week they get another subpoena from the Democrats, crazy Nancy Pelosi, the whole thing, just boom, boom, boom. They've got to stop that because they're destroying our country. We have to work on making America great again, not on beating people. And we won. We beat them and all. We beat them on the impeachments. We beat them on indictments. We beat them. But the time that you have to spend, if they would devote that genius to helping our country, we'd have a much stronger and better country. And Jason, the biggest star in country music. Jason, thank you for being here. Jason, thank you very much. Jason Aldean, he's good. I like his wife even better, by the way. She's here.
Jason Aldean sucks.
But I'm thrilled to have a new friend and partner fighting by my side. The next Vice President of the United States, the current Senator from Ohio, J.D. Vance, and his incredible wife, Usha. He's going to be a great Vice President. He's going to be great. Be with this country and with this movement, greatest movement in the history of our country. Make America great again. When they criticize it, they say, we're going to try and stop MAGA. I said, MAGA is make America great again. What are you going to stop? There's nothing to stop. Then they say, oh, that's right. It's very tough to fight it. And all of the people that did try and fight it have failed. But he's going to be with us for a long time, and it was an honor to select him. Great, great student at Yale. His wife was a great student at Yale. They met at Yale. These are two smart people. So, J.D., you're going to be doing this for a long time. Enjoy the ride. And a very special thank you to the extraordinary people of Milwaukee and the great state of, oh, there they are. There they are. You are so easy to spot. And Green Bay's going to have a good team this year, right? They're going to have a good team. They're going to have a good team. Most of the audience doesn't like it, but it's true. You're going to have a very good team this year. And by the way, Wisconsin, we are spending over $250 million here, creating jobs and other economic development all over the place. So I hope you will remember this in November and give us your vote. I am trying to buy your vote. I'll be honest about that. And I promise we will make Wisconsin great again. We're going to make it. Thank you, Mr. Governor. Thank you very much. Thank you. I'm here tonight to lay out a vision for the whole nation. to every citizen, whether you're a young or old man or woman, Democrat, Republican, or independent, black or white, Asian or Hispanic, I extend to you a hand of loyalty and of friendship. Together, we will lead America to new heights of greatness like the world has never seen before. We were right there in the first term. We got hit with COVID. We did a great job. Nobody knew what it was, but nobody's ever seen an economy pre-COVID. And then we handed over a stock market that was substantially higher than just prior to COVID. Coming in, did a great job. Never got credit for that. We got credit for the war and defeating ISIS and so many things, the great economy, the biggest tax cuts ever, the biggest regulation cuts ever, the creation of Space Force, the rebuilding of our military. We did so much. We did so much. Right to try. Right to try is a big deal. We got right to try. They were trying to get that for 52 years. Somebody's terminally ill. And hopefully there's nobody in this audience, but it does happen a lot. They're terminally ill and they can't use our new space age drugs and other things that we are way ahead. We have the greatest doctors in the world, the greatest laboratories in the world, and you can't do it. They've been trying to get that approved for 52 years. Wasn't that easy? The insurance companies didn't want to do it. They didn't want the risk. The labs didn't want to do it because if it didn't work, people are pretty far down the line toward death. They didn't want to do it. The doctors didn't want to have it on their records, so I got everybody into an office. 52 years they tried. Sounds simple, but it's not. And I got them to agree that somebody that needs it will, instead of going to Asia, Europe, or someplace, or if you have no money going home and dying, just die. We got them to sign an agreement, agree to it, where they're not going to sue anybody. They're going to get all of this stuff. They're going to get it really fast. And what's happened is we're saving thousands and thousands of lives. It's incredible. Right to try. It's a great feeling. Under our leadership, the United States will be respected again. No nation will question our power. No enemy will doubt our might. Our borders will be totally secure. Our economy will soar. We will return law and order to our streets, patriotism to our schools, and importantly, we will restore peace, stability, and harmony all throughout the world. But to achieve this future, we must first rescue our nation from failed and even incompetent leadership. We have totally incompetent leadership. This will be the most important election in the history of our country. Under the current administration, we are indeed a nation in decline. We have an inflation crisis that is making life unaffordable, ravaging the incomes of working and low-income families, and crushing, just simply crushing our people like never before. They've never seen anything like it. We also have an illegal immigration crisis, and it's taking place right now as we sit here in this beautiful arena. It's a massive invasion at our southern border that has spread misery, crime, poverty, disease, and destruction to communities all across our land. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. Then there's an international crisis, the likes of which the world has seldom been part of. Nobody can believe what's happening. War is now raging in Europe and the Middle East. A growing specter of conflict hangs over Taiwan, Korea, the Philippines, and all of Asia. And our planet is teetering on the edge of World War III. And this will be a war like no other war because of weaponry. The weapons are no longer army tanks going back and forth shooting at each other. These weapons are obliteration. It's time for a change. This administration can't come close to solving the problems. We're dealing with very tough, very fierce people. They're fierce people. And we don't have fierce people. We have people that are a lot less than fierce, except when it comes to cheating on elections and a couple of other things. Then they're fierce. Then they're fierce. So tonight, I make this pledge to the great people of America. I will end the devastating inflation crisis immediately, bring down interest rates, and lower the cost of energy. We will drill, baby, drill. Can you believe what they're doing? But by doing that, we will lead a large-scale decline in prices. Prices will start to come down. Energy raised it. They took our energy policies and destroyed them. Then they immediately went back to them, but by that time, so much was lost. But we will do it at levels that nobody's ever seen before. And we'll end lots of different things. We'll start paying off debt and start lowering taxes even further. We gave you the largest tax cut. We'll do it more. You know, people don't realize I brought taxes way down, way down, and yet we took in more revenues the following year than we did when the tax rate was much higher. Most people said, how did you do that? Because it was incentive. Everybody was coming to the country. They were bringing back billions and billions of dollars into our country. The companies made it impossible to bring it back. The tax rate was too high, and the legal complications were far too great. I changed both of them, and hundreds of billions of dollars by Apple and so many other companies were brought back into our nation, and we had an economy the likes of which no nation had ever seen. China, we were beating them at levels that were incredible. And they know it. They know it. We'll do it again, but we'll do it even better. I will end the illegal immigration crisis by closing our border and finishing the wall, most of which I've already built. On the wall, we were dealing with a very difficult Congress. And I said, oh, that's okay. We won't go to Congress. I call it an invasion. We gave our military almost $800 billion. I said, I'm going to take a little of that money because this is an invasion. And we built, most of the wall is already built. And we built it through using the funds because what's better than that? We have to stop the invasion into our country that's killing hundreds of thousands of people a year. We're not going to let that happen. I will end every single international crisis that the current administration has created, including the horrible war with Russia and Ukraine, which would have never happened if I was president, and the war caused by the attack on Israel, which would have never happened if I was president. Iran was broke. Iran had no money. Now Iran has $250 billion. They made it all over the last 2.5 years. They were broke. I watched the other day on a show called Deface the Nation. Has anyone seen it? And they had a congressman who was a Democrat say, well, whether you like him or not, Iran was broke dealing with Trump. I told China and other countries, if you buy from Iran, we will not let you do any business in this country, and we will put tariffs on every product you do send in of 100% or more. And they said to me, well, I think that's about it. They weren't going to buy any oil. And they were ready to make a deal. Iran was going to make a deal with us. And then we had that horrible, horrible result that we'll never let happen again. The election result, we're never going to let that happen again. They used COVID to cheat. We're never going to let it happen again. And they took off all the sanctions and they did everything possible for Iran. And now Iran is very close to having a nuclear weapon, which would have never happened. This is a shame what this administration, the damage that this administration has done. And I say it often, if you took the 10 worst presidents in the history of the United States, think of it, the 10 worst, added them up, they will not have done the damage that Biden has done. Only going to use the term once. Biden. I'm not going to use the name anymore, just one time. The damage that he's done to this country is unthinkable. It's unthinkable. Together we will restore vision, strength, competence, and we're going to have a thing called common sense making most of our decisions, actually. It's all common sense. Just a few short years ago, under my presidency, we had the most secure border and best economy in the history of our country, in the history of the world. We had the greatest economy in the history of the world. We had never done anything like it. We were beating every country, including China, by leaps and bounds. Nobody had seen anything like it. We had no inflation. Soaring incomes were going. Nobody can believe it. You can't believe what happened 4 years ago is happening now in reverse. And the world was at peace. Inflation has been a killer for our country. No matter what you make it, it doesn't matter because inflation is eating you alive. People that were putting away money, they were making great wages, the highest they've ever made, but they were putting away a lot of money. Now they are just being destroyed. They're not putting away anything. They're barely living. They're going into savings accounts. They're taking out their money to live because of inflation. Inflation, remember, it's called a country buster. You can go back to Germany from 100 years ago. You can go back to any country that suffered great inflation. We've suffered the worst inflation we've ever had. But go back and see what's happened to those countries. We've had the worst inflation we've ever had under this person. But in less than 4 years, our opponents have turned incredible success into unparalleled tragedy and failure. It's been a tremendous failure. Today, our cities are flooded with illegal aliens. Americans are being squeezed out of the labor force and their jobs are taken. By the way, you know who's taking the jobs that are created? 107% of those jobs are taken by illegal aliens.
Oh,
and you know who's being hurt the most by millions of people pouring into our country? The black population and the Hispanic population, because they're taking the jobs from our black population, our Hispanic population, and they're also taking them from unions. The unions are suffering because of it. Thank you. Thank you. I like you too. Thank you very much. Inflation has wiped out the life savings of our citizens and forced the middle class into a state of depression and despair. That's what it is. It's despair and depression. We cannot and will not let this continue. Less than 4 years ago, we were a great nation, and we will soon be a great nation again. We're going to be a great nation again. Thank you. With proper leadership, every disaster we are now enduring will be fixed, and it will be fixed very, very quickly. So tonight, whether you've supported me in the past or not, I hope you will support me in the future, because I will bring back the American dream. That's what we're going to do. You don't even hear about the American dream anymore. With great humility, I am asking you to be excited about the future of our country. Be excited. Be excited. And by the way, the news reports, oh, look at all of those big networks. Look at them. They're all here. But every one of them has said this could be the most organized, best run, and most enthusiastic convention of either party that they've ever seen. Every single one. And it's true. It's true. And there's love in the room. There's great love in the room. So I better finish strong. Otherwise, we'll blow it. And we can't let that happen. Now, this was great. All of the great people that spoke, and everybody hit a home run. I mean, there's not one that I can think of where I said, oh, gee, that wasn't great. Every single person. I refuse to be the only one. Don't do that to me. They're already getting ready. See, I gave them an idea. Now, this was a great convention. This was, I think we're actually going to go home and miss it. You know, usually with a first of all, look at these crowds. You'd never have this at a convention. Look at these crowds. Love, it's about love. This week, the entire Republican Party has formally adopted an agenda for America's renewal, and you saw that agenda, and it's very short compared to the long, boring, meaningless agendas of the past, including the Democrats. They write these things that are hundreds of pages long, and they never read them after they're done. In their case, fortunately, they don't read them because they're pretty bad. It's a series of bold promises that we will swiftly implement when you give us a Republican House. And Mr. Speaker, thank you very much. We have our great Speaker of the House with us tonight. Mr. Speaker, thank you very much. Thank you. A Republican Senate, we have many senators here. And send me back to our beautiful White House just a few short months from now. We're talking about just months. It can't come fast enough. We have to get it done. First, we must get economic relief to our citizens. Starting on day one, we will drive down prices and make America affordable again. We have to make it affordable. It's not affordable. People can't live like this. Under this administration, our current administration, groceries are up 57%, gasoline is up 60 and 70%, mortgage rates have quadrupled. And the fact is, it doesn't matter what they are because you can't get the money anyway. You can't buy houses. Young people can't get any financing to buy a house. The total household costs have increased an average of $28,000 per family under this administration. Republicans have a plan to bring down prices and bring them down very, very rapidly. By slashing energy costs, we will in turn reduce the cost of transportation, manufacturing, and all household goods. So much starts with energy. And remember, we have more liquid gold under our feet than any other country by far. We are a nation that has the opportunity to make an absolute fortune with its energy. We have it, and China doesn't. Under the Trump administration, just 3.5 years ago, we were energy independent, but soon we will actually be better than that. We will be energy dominant and supply not only ourselves, but we will supply the rest of the world with numbers that nobody has ever seen, and we will reduce our debt, $36 trillion. We will start reducing that, and we will also reduce your taxes still further. Next, and by the way, they want to raise your taxes 4 times. Think of it. And all my life, I grew up watching politicians. I always loved politics. I guess I was on the other side. I'd watch and they were always talking about, we will give you a tax cut. We will give you a tax cut. My whole life I was watching, I will give you a tax cut, right, Mr. Congressman? That's all they talked about. This is the only administration that said, we're going to raise your taxes by 4 times what you're paying now, and people are supposed to vote for them? I've never heard it. You're paying too much. We're going to reduce your taxes still further. We gave you the biggest one, as I said. We're going to give you more, and it's going to lead to tremendous growth. We want growth in our country. That's what's going to pay off our debt. And next, we will end the ridiculous and actually incredible waste of taxpayer dollars that is fueling the inflation crisis. They spent trillions of dollars on things having to do with the Green New Scam. It's a scam. And that's caused tremendous inflationary pressures in addition to the cost of energy. And all of the trillions of dollars that are sitting there not yet spent, we will redirect that money for important projects like roads, bridges, dams, and we will not allow it to be spent on meaningless green new scam ideas. And I will end the electric vehicle mandate on day one. Thereby saving the U.S. auto industry from complete obliteration, which is happening right now, and saving U.S. customers thousands and thousands of dollars per car. And right now, as we speak, large factories just started are being built across the border in Mexico. So with all the other things happening on our border, and they're being built
How's it
by
going,
China
chat? We
to
got a
make
show to
cars and
run.
sell them into our country. No tax, no anything. The United Auto Workers ought to be ashamed for allowing this to happen. And the leader of the United Auto Workers should be fired immediately. And every single auto worker, union and non-union, should be voting for Donald Trump, because we're going to bring back car manufacturing, and we're going to bring it back fast. They're building some of the largest auto plants anywhere in the world. Think of it, in the world. We're going to bring it back. We're going to make them. We don't mind that happening, but those plants are going to be built in the United States, and our people are going to man those plants. And if they don't agree with us, we'll put a tariff of approximately 100 to 200% on each car, and they will be unsellable in the United States. We have long been taken advantage of by other countries. And think of it, oftentimes these other countries are considered so-called allies. They've taken advantage of us for years. We lose jobs, we lose revenue, and they gain everything and wipe out our businesses, wipe out our people. I stopped it for 4 years. I stopped it. And we're really ready to make changes like nobody had seen before. And remember, USMCA, I got rid of NAFTA, the worst trade deal ever made, and replaced it with USMCA, which is, they say, the best trade deal ever made. Actually, probably the best trade deal was the deal I made with China, where they buy $50 billion worth of our product. They were buying nothing. They buy $50 billion worth. They had to. But I don't even talk about it because of COVID. I don't even mention it, frankly, because of what happened with the China virus. We will not let countries come in, take our jobs, and plunder our nation. They come and do that. They plunder our nation. The way they will sell their product in America is to build it in America. Very simple. Build it in America and only in America. And this very simple formula, and Congress has to go along with us, and they will. This very simple formula will create massive numbers of jobs. We will take over the auto industry again, and many, many hundreds of thousands of jobs. We lost so many jobs over the years. If you go back 20, 25 years, they've stolen, going to China and Mexico, about 68% of our auto industry manufacturing jobs. We're going to get them all back. We're going to get them all back, every one of them. At the center of our plan for economic relief are massive tax cuts for workers that include something else that's turned out to be very popular, actually. Here it's very popular in this building and all those hotels that I saw that are so nice. I'm staying in a nice one. It's called no tax on tips. No tax on tips. No tax on tips.
Oh, this is Ralph's platform debate. No tax on tips, bitch.
I got that by having dinner recently in Nevada, where we're leading by about 14 points. Hello. I'll see you there very soon, everybody. And we're having dinner at a beautiful restaurant in the Trump building on the Strip. And it's a great building. And the waitress comes over. How's everything going? A really nice person. How's everything? Oh, sir, it's so tough. The government's after me all the time on tips, tips, tips. I said, well, they give you cash. Would they be able to find them? She said, actually, and I didn't know this. She said, very little cash is given. It's all put right on the check. And they come in and they take so much of our money. It's just ridiculous. And they don't believe anything we say. And they've just hired, as you know, 88,000 agents to go after them even more. And I said, This shows the level of my, most people go out, they hire consultants, they pay millions of dollars. But I said to her, let me just ask you a question. Would you be happy if you had no tax and tips? She said, what a great idea. I got my information from a very smart waitress. That's better than spending millions of dollars. And everybody loves it. Waitresses and caddies and drivers and everybody's a large group of people that are being really hurt badly. They make money, let them keep their money. I'm going to protect Social Security and Medicare. Democrats are going to destroy Social Security and Medicare because all of these people, by the millions they're coming in, they're going to be on Social Security and Medicare and other things, and you're not able to afford it. They are destroying your Social Security and your Medicare. Under my plan, incomes will skyrocket, inflation will vanish completely, jobs will come roaring back, and the middle class will prosper like never, ever before, and we're going to do it very rapidly. But no hope or dream we have for America can succeed unless we stop the illegal immigrant invasion, the worst that's ever been seen anywhere in the world. There's never been an invasion like this anywhere. Third world countries would fight with sticks and stones not to let this happen. The invasion at our southern border, we will stop it, and we will stop it quickly. You heard Tom Homan yesterday. Tom Homan, put him in charge and just sit back and watch. Brandon Judd, the Border Patrol, he's incredible. These guys, they really, their job is a lot easier if they don't have to do anything, but they want to. They're patriots. Brandon Judd, Border Patrol, ICE. ICE goes out. You have to see what ICE does with MS-13. You have these are probably the worst gang, and ICE goes in there. And I know a lot of people in these rows here, and they're very tough people, but they don't want to do this job. They'll go into a pack of MS-13 killers. They're the worst, probably the worst gangs in the world. We have thousands of them. I moved thousands and thousands out in my 4 years. We moved them out, and it was a pleasure. But ICE would go right into a pack of these killers, and you see fists flying, you see everything flying, and then they take them. They put them in a paddy wagon. They take them back, and they get them out of our country. And the other countries weren't accepting them back, and I called up, and I said, tell them that we're not giving them economic aid anymore. And the next day, I got calls from all of these countries that were terminated. Billions of dollars we spend on economic aid to countries that does us, frankly, no good. And the next day, I was called by everybody. I couldn't take all the calls. Sir, what's the problem? I said, you won't take your killers back that you sent in caravans into America. You won't take them back. Well, sir, if you'd like us to, we would give very serious consideration to doing that. And within 24 hours, they were being taken back. For years and years, when I first came in, they said President Obama tried to get him to go back, and they wouldn't accept him. They'd put planes on the runway so you couldn't leave the plane. They'd close the road so you couldn't take the buses. They'd all have to turn back. As soon as I said no more economic aid of any kind to any country that does that, they called back and they said, sir, it would be our great honor to take MS-13. We love them very much. We love them very much, sir. We'll take them back. At the heart of the Republican platform is our pledge to end this border nightmare and fully restore the sacred and sovereign borders of the United States of America. And we're going to do that on day one. That means two things on day one, right? Drill, baby, drill, and close our borders. And by the way, and I think everybody as a Republican, as a patriot in this room, and most Democrats, we want people to come into our country, but they have to come into our country legally. Legally. Less than 4 years ago, I handed this administration the strongest border in American history. But you can see on the chart that saved my life, that was the chart that saved my life. I said, look it, I'm so proud of it. I think it's one of the greatest. It was done by the Border Patrol. One of the greatest charts I've ever seen. It showed everything just like that. You know the chart. Oh, there it is. That's pretty good. Wow. Last time I put up that chart, I never really got to look at it. But without that chart, I would not be here today.
Okay, that's good.
Never got to look at it.
Oof. Now everybody's seeing the chart. And see, it's like, no, cut the feed, get the chart off.
I said, you got to see this chart. I was so proud of it. And by the time I got to there, I never got to see it that day. But I'm seeing it now, and I was very proud. And if you look at the arrow in the bottom, that's the lowest level, the one on the bottom, heavy red arrow. That's the lowest level of illegal immigrants ever to come into our country in recorded history, right there. Right there. And that was my last week in office. And then you see what happened after I left. Look at the rest. And if you go out a little bit further, it's getting to be a little bit old, but I love it anyway, right? But you can go much higher with those numbers. Look what happened right after that. The invasion began. We had the opposite. We stopped the invasion, but the invasion that we stopped was peanuts by comparison to what happened after I left. Look at what happened after I left. They took over our country. We ended all catch and release. We shut down asylum fraud. We stopped human trafficking and forged historic agreements to keep illegal aliens on foreign soil. We want them to stay on their soil. Under the Trump administration, if you came in illegally, you were apprehended immediately and you were deported. You went right back. The current administration terminated every single one of those great Trump policies that I put in place to seal the border. I wanted a seal border. Again, come in, but come in legally. You know how unfair it is? So many people, hundreds of thousands of people, have been working for years to come into our country. And now they see these people pour into our country at levels that are unprecedented. It's so unfair. And we're not going to do it. We're not going to stand for it. They suspended wall construction, ended remain in Mexico. We had a policy, remain in Mexico. You think that was easy to get from the Mexican government? But I said, you must give it to us. If you don't give it to us, there will be repercussions. And they gave it to us, but not easy. Canceled our Safe Third agreements. Demolished Title 42, implemented nationwide catch and release. That's catch and release, where we catch them and release them into our country. We catch them and release them into Mexico. There's a slight difference. And took 93, this is the previous administration, 93 executive actions to throw open our border to the world. The entire world is pouring into our country because of this very foolish administration. The greatest invasion in history is taking place right here in our country. They are coming in from every corner of the earth, not just from South America, but from Africa, Asia, the Middle East. They're coming from everywhere. They're coming at levels that we've never seen before. It is an invasion indeed, and this administration does absolutely nothing to stop them. They're coming from prisons. They're coming from jails. They're coming from mental institutions and insane asylums. You know, the press is always on me because I say this. Has anyone seen Silence of the Lambs? The late, great Hannibal Lecter. He'd love to have you for dinner. That's insane asylums. They're emptying out their insane asylums. And terrorists are coming in at numbers that we've never seen before. Bad things are going to happen. Meanwhile, our crime rate is going up while crime statistics all over the world are going down because they're taking their criminals and they're putting them into our country. A certain country, and I happen to like the president of that country very much, but he's been getting great publicity because he's a wonderful shepherd of the country. He says how well the country's doing because their crime rate is down. And he said he's training all of these rough people. They're rough. He's training them. And I've been reading about this for 2 years. I think, oh, that's wonderful. Let's take a look at it. But then I realized he's not training them. He's sending all of his criminals. his drug dealers, his people that are in jails. He's sending them all to the United States. And he's different in that he doesn't say that. He's trying to convince everybody what a wonderful job he does in running the country. Well, he doesn't do a wonderful job. And by the way, if I ran one of the countries, many countries from all over, I would be worse than any of them. I would have had the place totally emptied out already. But we become a dumping ground for the rest of the world, which is laughing at us. They think we're stupid. And they can't believe that they're getting away with what they're getting away with, but they're not going to be getting away with it for long. That's what I can tell you. In Venezuela, Caracas, high crime. Caracas, Venezuela, really a dangerous place, but not anymore. Because in Venezuela, crime is down 72%. In fact, if they would ever win this election, I hate to even say that, we will have our next Republican convention in Venezuela because it will be safe. Our cities will be so unsafe, we won't be able. We will not be able to have it there. In El Salvador, murders are down by 70%. Why are they down? Now, he would have you convinced that because he's trained murderers to be wonderful people. No. They're down because they're sending their murderers to the United States of America. This is going to be very bad. And bad things are going to happen, and you're seeing it happen all the time. That's why, to keep our families safe, the Republican platform promises to launch the largest deportation operation in the history of our country. Even larger than that of President Dwight D. Eisenhower from many years ago. You know, he was a moderate, but he believed very strongly in borders. He had the largest deportation operation we've ever had. Just recently, I spoke to the grieving mother of Jocelyn Nungary, a wonderful woman, a precious 12-year-old girl from Houston who last month was tied up, assaulted, and strangled to death after walking to the convenience store just a block away from her house. Her body was dumped near the side of the road in a shallow creek, found by some onlookers who couldn't believe what they had witnessed. Charged with Jocelyn's heinous murder are 2 illegal aliens from Venezuela who came across our border, were in custody, and were then released into the country by this horrible, horrible administration that we have right now. I also met recently with the heartbroken mother and sister of Rachel Morin. Rachel was a 37-year-old mom of 5 beautiful children who was brutally raped and murdered while out on a run. She wanted to keep herself in good shape. It was very important to her. She was murdered. The monster responsible first killed another woman in El Salvador before he was led into America by the White House. This White House let them in. He then attacked a 9-year-old girl and her mother in a home invasion in Los Angeles before murdering Rachel in Maryland. Traveled all throughout the country, doing tremendous damage. Rachel's mother will never be the same. I spent time with her. She will never be the same. I've also met with the wonderful family of Laken Riley, the brilliant 22-year-old nursing student. She was so proud of being first in her class, who was out for a jog on the campus of the University of Georgia when she was assaulted, beaten, and horrifically killed. Yet another American life was stolen by a criminal alien set free by this administration. And these were incredible people we're talking about. These were incredible people who died. Tonight, America, this is my vow. I will not let these killers and criminals into our country. I will keep our sons and daughters safe. As we bring security to our streets, we will help bring stability to the world. I was the first president in modern times to start no new wars. You know, we were the toughest. We were the most respected. And you saw this. Hungry, strong country run by a very powerful, tough leader. Tough guy. Press doesn't like him because he's tough. And he came out recently. They were asking him at an interview, the whole world is exploding. What's happening? What's going on? Viktor Orban, Prime Minister of Hungary, very tough man. He said, I don't want people coming into my country and blowing up our shopping centers and killing people. But they said to him, tell us what's going wrong, what's happening, what is it? He said, there's only one way you're going to solve it. You got to bring President Trump back to the United States because he kept everybody at bay. He used a word I wouldn't use because I can't use that word, because you'd say it was braggadocious. The press would say he was a braggart. I'm not a braggart. But Viktor Orban said it. He said Russia was afraid of him. China was afraid of him. Everybody was afraid of him. Nothing was going to happen. The whole world was at peace. And now the world is blowing up around us. All of these things that you read about were not going to happen. Under President Bush, Russia invaded Georgia. Under President Obama, Russia took Crimea. Under the current administration, Russia is after all of Ukraine. Under President Trump, Russia took nothing. We defeated 100% of ISIS in Syria and Iraq, something that was said to take 5 years, sir. It'll take 5 years, sir. We did it in a matter of a couple of months. We have a great military. Our military is not woke. It's just some of the fools on top that are woke. I got along very well. North Korea, Kim Jong-un, I got along very well with him. The press hated when I said that. How could you get along with him? Well, you know, it's nice to get along with somebody who has a lot of nuclear weapons or otherwise, isn't it? See, in the old days, they'd say, that's a wonderful thing. Now they say, how could you possibly do that? But no, I got along with him, and we stopped the missile launches from North Korea. Now North Korea is acting up again, but when we get back, I get along with him. He'd like to see me back, too. I think he misses me, if you want to know the truth. Our opponents inherited a world at peace and turned it into a planet of war. We're in a planet of war. Look at that attack on Israel. Look at what's happening with Ukraine. The cities are just bombed out. How can people live like that where buildings, massive buildings, are falling to the ground? It began to unravel with the disastrous withdrawal from Afghanistan, the worst humiliation in the history of our country. We have never had a humiliation like that. 13 heroic U.S. service members were tragically and needlessly killed. 45 others were horrifically wounded. Nobody ever talks about them. No arms, no legs, face explosions.
I will say at this point, he's spoken longer than Biden
wounded.
can go.
And by the way, we have a
Say
man
that much.
in this room who's running for the U.S. Senate from a great state, Nevada, named Sam Brown, who paid the ultimate price. Thank you, Sam. Thank you, Sam. Thank you. He paid the biggest price probably ever paid by anybody that is running for office, and I think he's going to do great. He's running against a person that is not good, not respected, a total lightweight. But Sam, I think, paid, really, we were talking about it with some of the senators that are working so hard for Sam, but he paid the biggest price of any senator ever to run for the Senate. I don't think anybody's ever what he did. He was a real hero, a really great person. And he's running, and I hope that everybody gets out and votes for Sam Brown. And we also left behind $85 billion worth of military equipment, along with many American citizens were left behind. Many, many American citizens, emboldened by that disaster. Russia invaded Ukraine. They saw this group of people that were incompetent. We took the soldiers out first. No, we're going to take the soldiers out second. If they would have followed my plan, we had a great plan. But the plan only kicked in if they did everything perfectly, and they weren't doing things perfectly. So we said it doesn't kick in. 18 months in Afghanistan, we didn't have one. So they were killing them left and right, snipers. And I spoke to the head of the Taliban. You've heard this story. Abdul, still there, still the head of the Taliban. The press got on me. Why would you speak to him? I said, because that's where the killing is. I don't have to speak to somebody that has nothing to do with it. And I told him, don't ever do that. Don't ever do that again. Don't ever do that again. You got to stop. Because during the Obama administration, many great people and soldiers, but a lot of soldiers were being killed from long distance. I said, if you keep doing that, you're going to be hit harder than anybody's ever been hit by a country before. And he said, I understand, Your Excellency. He called me Your Excellency. I wonder if he calls the other guy Your Excellency. I doubt it. The other guy gave him everything. I mean, what kind of a deal was that? He walked out, gave him everything. Do you know that right now Afghanistan is one of the largest sellers of weapons in the world? They're selling the brand new, beautiful weapons that we gave them. But think of it. He actually said to me, but why do you show me a picture of my home? I said, you'll have to ask your people or one of your wives. But he could figure it out. And for 18 months, we had not one attack on an American soldier by the Taliban. 18 months. And then we had that horrible day where soldiers were killed. I was not there because of a ridiculous election. But we had that horrible attack. And they also gave up Bagram, one of the biggest bases anywhere in the world, air bases anywhere in the world, the longest runways, most powerful, hardened, thickened runways. We gave it up. And I liked it not because of Afghanistan. I liked it because of China. It's 1 hour away from where China makes their nuclear weapons. And you know who has it now? China has it now. We were keeping that. And now China is likewise circling Taiwan, and Russian warships and nuclear submarines are operating 60 miles off the coast in Cuba. Do you know that? No, the press refuses to write about it. If that were me running this country and we had nuclear submarines in Cuba, I will tell you that the headlines every day would be, what's wrong with our president? You don't even hear this. You're not hearing about this. Russia has nuclear submarines and warships 60 miles away, Mr. Congressman, from Miami, by the way, happens to be here. Correct? In Cuba. And that would not be stood for if it were somebody else. They don't want to mention it, but now maybe they will. And the entire world, I tell you this, we want our hostages back, and they better be back before I assume office, or you will be paying a very big price. With our victory in November, the years of war, weakness, and chaos will be over. I don't have wars. I had no wars other than ISIS, which I defeated, but that was a war that was started. We had no wars. I could stop wars with a telephone call. I could stop wars with just a telephone call. If properly stated, it would never start. We will replenish our military and build an Iron Dome missile defense system to ensure that no enemy can strike our homeland.
Oh my God, how long is this going to go?
Will be built entirely in the USA. We're going to build it the USA. And Wisconsin, just like I gave you that massive ship contract, and you're doing a very nice job, Governor, right? Thank you, Governor. And they're doing a great job. In fact, I had a little design change, and we gave them a tremendous for essentially what we used to call destroyers. These are now the most beautiful. They look like yachts. I said, we have to take the bow and we have to make it a little nicer and a little point at the top instead of a flat nose. And the people at the shipyard said, this guy sort of knows what he's doing. We have the most beautiful ships, right, Governor? And everybody's sitting over there. And it was a big contract that everybody wanted. I gave it to Wisconsin, but we're going to have a lot of that built right here in the state of Wisconsin and all other states. Israel has an Iron Dome. They have a missile defense system. 342 missiles were shot into Israel, and only one got through a little bit. It was badly wounded. It fell to the ground, but most of them are. And Ronald Reagan wanted this many years ago, but we really didn't have the technology many years ago. Remember, they called it Starship, spaceship, anything to mock him. But he was a very good president. Very, very good.
Come on, buddy.
But now we have unbelievable technology. And why should other countries have this and we don't? No, we're going to build an Iron Dome over our country, and we're going to be sure that nothing can come and harm our people. And again, from an economic development standpoint, we're going to make it all right here. No more sending it out to other countries in order to help. It's America first. America first. We will unleash the power of American innovation. And as we do, we will soon be on the verge of finding the cures to cancer, Alzheimer's disease, and many other diseases. We're going to get to the bottom of it. You remember this gentleman that I don't want to mention other than one time I had to, because when you say you're the 10 worst, I had to do it. I didn't want anybody to be confused. But this man said, we're going to find a cure to cancer. Nothing happened. We're going to get to the cure for cancer and Alzheimer's and so many other things. We're so close to doing something great. But we need a leader that will let it be done. We will not have men playing in women's sports. That will end immediately. And we will restore and renovate our nation's once great cities, making them safe, clean, and beautiful again. And that includes our nation's capital, which is a horrible killing field. So many things. They leave from Wisconsin. They go to look at the Washington Monument. They end up getting stabbed, killed, or shot. We will be very soon very proud of our capital. Again, Washington, D.C.
Okay, somebody on Twitter said Trump's speech in Pennsylvania got cut short, so he's making up for it.
America is on the cusp of a new golden age, but we will have the courage to seize it. We're going to take it. We're going to make it a current. We're going to bring this into a golden age like never seen before. Remember this, China wants to do it. Japan wants to do it. All of these countries want to do it. We have to produce massive amounts of energy if we're going to produce the new. If you look at some of the things that have been done and some of the things that we're going to do, but AI needs literally twice the electricity that's available now in our country. Can you imagine? But instead, we're spending places where they recharge electric cars. They built 8 chargers at a certain location toward the Midwest. 8 charges for $9 billion. Think of them as a tank for filling up your gas. Think of it. They spent $9 billion on 8 charges, 3 of which didn't work. And if you were going to do this all over our country, this crazy electric mandate, if you're going to do this and by the way, I'm all for electric. They have their application. But if somebody wants to buy a gas-powered car, gasoline-powered car, or a hybrid, they're going to be able to do it. And we're going to make that change on day 1. So to conclude, Just a few short days ago, my journey with you nearly ended. We know that. And yet, here we are tonight, all gathered together, talking about the future, promise, and a total renewal of a thing we love very much. It's called America. We live in a world of miracles. None of us knows God's plan or where life's adventure will take us. I want to thank Franklin Graham for being here tonight. He's an outstanding man. He wrote me a note recently. I have a lot of respect for him. Sir, I love your storytelling. I think it's great in front of these big rallies. But sir, please do me one favor. It won't make any difference. Please don't use any foul language. I was a little embarrassed. He said, it won't make any difference. Actually, it does. The story's not quite as good, but I've been very good. The story is not quite as good, to be honest. I've got to have a little talk with Franklin, but he was great. He's a great gentleman. His father was so incredible, Billy Graham. My father used to love taking me to see Billy Graham. My father would take me to see Billy Graham at Yankee Stadium. He had the biggest rallies you've ever seen. He was a good rally guy, too. But he'd get up, and he was a fantastic guy. My father loved Billy Graham. But I love Franklin Graham. I think Franklin's been fantastic. And I'm working so hard to adhere to his note to me. I'm working hard on it, Franklin. But if the events of last Saturday make anything clear, it is that every single moment we have on earth is a gift from God. We have to make the most of every day for the people and for the country that we love. The attacker in Pennsylvania wanted to stop our movement, but the truth is the movement has never been about me. It has always been about you. It's your movement. It's the biggest movement in the history of our country by far. Can't be stopped. It can't be stopped. It has always been about the hardworking, patriotic citizens of America. For too long, our nation has settled for too little. We settled for too little. We've given everything to other nations, to other people. You've been told to lower your expectations and to accept less for your families. I am here tonight with the opposite message. Your expectations are not big enough. Not big enough. It is time to start expecting and demanding the best leadership in the world, leadership that is bold, dynamic, relentless, and fearless. We can do that. We are Americans. Ambition is our heritage. Greatness is our birthright. But as long as our energies are spent fighting each other, our destiny will remain out of reach, and that's not acceptable. We must instead take that energy and use it to realize our country's true potential and write our own thrilling chapter of the American story. We can do it together. We will unite. We are going to come together.
The Emperor is spreading the word.
Will bring us together.
He's rolling. Just let him go.
It is a story of love, sacrifice, and so many other things.
How much more can he say?
And remember the word devotion. It's unmatched devotion.
Is this just like a big troll so Biden can't compete? Like Trump's going to be like, I dare you to go minute for minute, Joe. Oh, my God.
Our American ancestors crossed the Delaware, survived the icy winter.
We're going all
Valley
night, chat. No,
and defeated
we're not.
a mighty empire to establish our cherished republic. They fought so hard.
Play them off, guys. Come on, let's go. Play them off.
They pushed thousands and thousands of miles across a dangerous frontier, taming the wilderness to build a life and a magnificent home for their family. They packed their families into covered wagons, trekked across hazardous trails, scaled towering mountains, and braved rivers and rapids to stake their claim on the wide open, new, and very beautiful frontier. When our way of life was threatened, American patriots marched onto the battlefield, raced into enemy strongholds, and stared down death and stared down those enemies to keep alive the flame of freedom. At Yorktown, Gettysburg, And midway, they joined the roll call of immortal heroes. So many just so many heroes, so many great, great people. And we have to cherish those people. We can't forget those people. We have to cherish those people. And building monuments to those great people is a good thing, not a bad thing. They saved our country. No challenge was too much. No hardship was too great. No enemy was too fierce. Together, these patriots soldiered on and endured, and they prevailed because they had faith in each other, faith in their country, and above all, they had faith in their God.
We're going to talk about that this weekend.
Just like our ancestors, we must now come together, rise above past differences. Any disagreements have to be put aside and go forward united as one people, one nation, pledging allegiance to one great, beautiful, I think it's so beautiful, American flag.
He really is making up for the cutoff.
Tonight I ask for your partnership, for your support, and I am humbly asking for your vote. I want your vote. Going to make our country great again. Every day I will strive to honor the trust you have placed in me, and I will never, ever let you down. I promise that. I will never let you down. To all of the forgotten men and women who have been neglected, abandoned, and left behind, you will be forgotten no longer. We will press forward, and together we will win, win, win. Win, 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 win. Nothing will sway us, nothing will slow us, and no one will ever stop us. No matter what dangers come our way, no matter what obstacles lie in our path, we will keep striving toward our shared and glorious destiny, and we will not fail. We will not fail. Together, we will save this country. We will restore the republic, and we will usher in the rich and wonderful tomorrows that our people so truly deserve. America's future will be bigger, better, bolder, brighter, happier, stronger, freer, greater, and more united than ever before. And quite simply put, we will very quickly make America great again. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Wisconsin. God bless you. God bless you, Wisconsin, and God bless the United States of America, our great country. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you.
All right, guys. So that's it. Wow. Jeez. Dude went forever. God, I can't believe he could do that. Well, good for him. I think he had to make up for that lost time in Pennsylvania. To be fair, he got robbed. To be fair, he got robbed. Okay, yeah, because that crowd noise seemed very, very quiet. All right, let's ooh. You know, guys, at the beginning, I wasn't sure what that was, but I think that was a Trump who's had some humility. That was impressive. That was epic. That was epic. I mean, the beginning of that was really amazing. So, 10 out of 10. I'd listen to that all over again. He should have ended by saying, Joe, do this same thing. Trump heard at a big show tonight. He wanted to tell you to focus all on him. Yeah. No, that was really good, guys. So we'll see. I mean, there's that big Trump energy that was there, so I think we're going to be okay. All right, so there's some super chats out here, though. EDW Raptor and Selena both gifted 5 memberships. Sadie Neal for $1.99 says Trump 2024, baby. USA. Yes. Stephen Cooper says the tax plan getting rid of work-related deductions was, in my opinion, his worst move. He did a lot of bad things. I mean, there's a bunch of stuff he didn't do that I didn't like. The one thing, I mean, if they ever do have another debate, I want Trump to ask Biden what the hell he meant by the federal rent issues. But Linda Richards said his music to come out to Baby Shark would have been good, but he's too scared. I think a lot of people are too scared to come out to Baby Shark. Oh, and you guys are talking about his ear thing. Yeah, I still think his ear probably looks really good and it patched up well, so they're not like it's not as gnarly as we think. It's not gonna look like a Space Marines injury. So, a Demon's Wrath, he said, yeah, he's had plenty of time to contemplate his mortality. I think so. I hope so. It sounds like he did. It sounds like because after a while he came back to normal. And Nicholas is saying, dude, somehow even my dad is still awake for this. I'm pretty sure most senior citizens are staying up past their bedtimes tonight. Oh, I bet a lot did. I bet a lot did, man. Those third shifters in the nursing homes are going to be upset. Cedar Rose says, why is he no longer saying Biden? I think that's part of the reinforcing the idea that he doesn't consider Biden to be the contender anymore. I think that's part of why he's doing that. That's very slick. That's very, very slick. Repeal NAFTA. They already did. Katie says, get a Clyde for your Clyde. Yes. That's a shame since I told myself I'd work out until he stopped talking. And that was a mistake. Yes, that was that would have been a mistake. But hey, his that was sounds like it worked out for you. EDW Raptor says, we are going all night, chat. Yes, that's Trump said. We're going all night in America. EDW Raptor says also, Trump, we're going to hit the goal in November. Chat, it'll be a great goal. After that, we are not going all night. We will go 4 years. Can we hit the goal, chat? Now, I do like that comment he made. Your expectations aren't high enough. That was pretty awesome. People like, your expectations aren't high enough. You don't have big enough dreams or goals. Yes, he's like, take my hand. I will bring you to that land. Sleazy gifted 5 memberships. Thank you, Sleazy. Tia Nena is a new member. Thank you, Tia, for re-upping. The Amateur Iconoclast gifted 5 memberships. Thank you. Thank you guys for your support. Yes. The best comment was about the chart. Yeah, that's so funny. It's the long live the chart. All right. No talk of a lockbox a la Gore. Missed the opportunity. Yeah. You don't want to mention the lockbox. Social Security is a fucking scam anyway. It's all a scam. And if you don't, it's all a scam. There is no money. What grocery store do I shop at? I think it's Giant Eagle. I don't know which one we use on Instacart. Deport the Greys. Yes, we will. 5,000, more like 500,000 calories a day. 6 gorillion calories a day. TNN says like a pyramid scheme. Oh, it's even worse than a pyramid scheme. Literally, it's worse. People have already been robbed. Even though dox myself, like, there's only giant eagles in Cleveland, so it works out. Plead the Fifth says I dip my bacon in butter. That would be disgusting. That'd be very, very nasty. All right, guys, we're moving on. Okay, so this one was from 2.0, and I thought this is hilarious. 400 times calling 911. 400 times. That's a lot. That's a lot. And this lady called 911 400 times. That's a lot. That's a lot. It's an Ohio woman. Zanesville's in Southern Ohio, chat. And it's not a very big county. That's the other thing here. I know Juror 13, he mentioned that, some lady where he lived did like 7% of their calls or something. I was like, holy shit. But no, Muskingum County, Ohio, it's not super huge. I think there's only how many, like 60,000 people there? Oh, okay. 86,000 people in Muskingum County. That's still not a ton. Oh, Flash. People are coming over. Hey, guys. It's over. Jim Cox says, what over length of time? So here, she called 34 times, or she called 911 nearly 400 times between 2020 and 2023. Up to 7 times a day sometimes. That's a lot, guys. Over the course of 4 years, 400 times, 100 times a year. And I mean, this is actually, and it's one thing she used up resources, but they stated they weren't able to attend people with breathing ailments. That person later died. And one other time they were understaffed during an actual fire. Oh my gosh, that's rough. That is rough. That is really bad. Amateur client said I lived in Zanesville about a year. So you got to drive on the Y Bridge. Plead the Fifth says my grandpa had dementia and called 911 a lot till we took the phone out of the room. My grandma had that issue too at the nursing home. She kept calling the police, begging them to help her. They had to take the phone out of her room. How is she not in prison? We're going to get to that. We're going to get to what's going on with her. So she's facing a couple different charges here. And, she had been told repeatedly she has no medical issues. So we don't really know what her issue is. But she also has a history of misuse in other counties, including Franklin County, where Columbus is, Licking County. We have a Licking County in Ohio. Yes, it's called Licking County. Guernsey County, Cuyahoga County, where Cleveland is. She's only 34. She's done it like a ton of times. So, she's facing a couple of different felony charges. And here's what happened. She was charged with 53 counts of misusing 911 as a 4th-degree misdemeanor. And that 4th-degree misdemeanor, chat, that's 53 counts of up to 30 days in jail and a $250 fine. Now, there's a limit to the amount of time she could face, but 53 counts of misusing 911. And she was also charged with disrupting public services and one count of making false alarms, both felonies of the 4th degree. What's happened here, though, her and her attorney have made a decision. She's trying to get in Ohio what's called intervention in lieu of conviction. It's actually very apropos because a lot of states have this. Now, what she's trying to say is that she acknowledges that a mental illness, in her case, or other cases, drug or alcohol use, were a leading factor in the criminal behavior is set forth. So what's going to happen? She gets to get assessed and provide a treatment plan. And what does she do from here? Zero Skill says 53 out of 400 calls. I think there might be times where they weren't 100. They probably couldn't prove all of them. These were like the 53 most obvious ones. You take the 53 home runs. So she's your damsel in distress. Oh, Jesus Christ. It's the fentanyl talking. Oh. Probably down there it is fentanyl. So anyway, she is actually going to provide the court with a treatment plan saying, well, I've got whatever, and here's how I'm going to treat it. And that she qualifies. And these are all the things you have to do. You show whether or not you've been pleaded guilty of crimes of violence. It's not a specific type of felony. She hasn't been charged with other things that are there. And she's getting assessed by a licensed or credentialed mental health professional. So what is she going to be able to do with this? If she satisfies all the criteria, the court lets her into the program. And then the court will determine, okay, does she qualify? Will this minimize things or embarrass things or demean the seriousness of her offenses? And if the court lets her into the program, she'll complete it. She might be given anywhere for up to 5 years. If she completes the program and completes all the things the court is ordering her to do, it gets dismissed. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. The court might also just look at everything and say, yeah, no, fuck, we're not doing this. It really depends. I just think it's interesting all the 911 calls this lady did. I'm surprised they didn't beat the shit out of her for this. They were all just butt dials. Oh, they're doing a chain? So it will be very interesting what she did or why she did it. Sickofet says, provide the court a treatment plan. Nick needs to counsel her. Yes. Well, this is what you want. If you want, you might call this diversion, deferred adjudication, call a prosecutor in other states. This is a similar type of program, but this is what they call it. The neat thing about this type of thing here in Ohio, and I've had this happen before, the prosecutors opposed it. And they think that's like a complete ban on things. And you point out in the statute, there is no word the prosecutors never mentioned at all. And I've had like one of them throw a shit fit before about that. So it's interesting. I thought it was kind of funny there. So we'll check back in on her at some point, chat. You might be able to fix her still. Okay. So Alec Baldwin, guys, we covered this on Friday. If you guys don't remember, Alec Baldwin's case against him got dismissed by the judge, mainly because the state withheld evidence that would have been exculpatory, and it was a Brady violation. And given the evidence out there, it lends some credence to the idea that Seth Kenney may have done some sketchiness and possibly sabotage things on set. Whether or not that would have been a valid defense the jury would have bought is irrelevant. That Alec Baldwin was denied that opportunity to look at it because Carrie Morrissey, the prosecutor, knew about this evidence and hid it. She knew all about it, and she said, nope, I don't want you to know about it. And here is the judge kind of laying out very quickly her ruling on that.
So, dismissal with prejudice is a very extreme sanction. And case law is very clear that because it's very extreme, I have to go through every single element, and I have to make a very good record as to why I'm seeing what I'm seeing. So, in order to establish a Brady violation, the defendant must show that the prosecution suppressed evidence, the evidence was favorable to the accused, and the evidence was material to the defense. So let's go through the elements. Suppression of evidence. The definition of suppression of elements, this is Case versus Hatch, is while the first element requires proof that the prosecution suppressed or withheld the evidence in question, it does not require a finding of bad faith or any other culpable state of mind on the part of the prosecutor. This prong is satisfied. The Santa Fe County Sheriff's Office and the prosecution failed to disclose the supplemental report to defense and provide defense an opportunity to inspect the rounds collected into evidence that Mr. Teske gave. Is the evidence favorable to the accused? The second Brady element is whether the suppressed evidence was favorable.
Guys,
to the
I know we
accused,
covered this,
either
but not
as
everybody was here.
impeachment or
Just covering this real
exculpatory
quick.
Evidence. This prong is satisfied. The suppressed evidence is favorable to the accused. It is impeachment evidence, has even been offered in this trial as impeachment evidence, and is potentially exculpatory to the defense. Critically, the exculpatory value cannot be analyzed at such a late juncture because of the non-disclosure. Is the evidence material? While post-trial discovery of evidence under Brady requires a reasonable probability that the result of the proceeding would have been different, discovery of evidence during trial requires an evaluation of whether the late tender has impeded the effective use of evidence in such a way that it impacts the fundamental fairness of the proceedings, and that is State versus Huerta Castro. This evidence is material. The late discovery of this evidence during trial has impeded the effective use of evidence in such a way that it has impacted the fundamental fairness of the proceedings. The defense is not in a position to test the state's theory as to the source of the live rounds that killed Ms. Hutchins. I'm also going to take a look at Harper, State versus Harper. The assessment of sanctions depends upon the extent of the government's culpability, weighed against the amount of prejudice to the state. Quoting Chenard. Let's go through culpability. Our case law generally provides that the refusal to comply with a district court's discovery order only rises to the level of exclusion or dismissal where the state's conduct is especially culpable, such as where evidence is unilaterally withheld by the state in bad faith, or all access to the evidence is precluded by state intransigence. The state is highly culpable for its failure to provide this discovery to the defendant. The state unilaterally withheld the supplemental report. Santa Fe County Sheriff's Officer made the decision, and apparently also with the prosecutor, pursuant to Hancock's testimony, that the evidence was of no evidentiary value and failed to connect the evidence to the instant case. The case agent, as well as pursuant to Hancock's testimony, Ms. Morrissey, was aware of the new evidence and yet did not make an effort to disclose it to defense. The state's willful withholding of this information was intentional and deliberate. If this conduct does not rise to the level of bad faith, it certainly comes so near to bad faith as to show signs of scorching. Prejudice. When discovery has been produced late, prejudice does not accrue unless the evidence is material and the disclosure is so late that it undermines the defendant's preparation for trial. The court concludes that this conduct is highly prejudicial to the defendant. The jury has been sworn, jeopardy has attached, and this disclosure during the course of trial is so late that it undermines the defendant's preparation for trial. There is no way for the court to right this wrong. Lesser sanctions under Harper. Trial courts possess broad discretionary authority to decide what sanction to impose when a discovery order is violated, State versus Lemire. The sanction of dismissal is the only warranted remedy. The jury has been sworn, jeopardy has attached, and a mistrial would not be based upon manifest necessity. Further, the sanction of dismissal is warranted in this case. The state has repeatedly made representations to defense and to the court that they were compliant with all their discovery obligations. Despite their repeated representations, they have continued to fail to disclose critical evidence to the defendant. Brady and Harper are satisfied. Dismissal with prejudice is warranted. Court also has power, inherent power. Per State versus Lemire, where discovery violations inject needless delay into the proceedings, courts may impose meaningful sanctions to effectuate their inherent power and promote efficient judicial administration. The state's discovery violation has injected a needless, incurable delay into the instant jury trial. Dismissal with prejudice is warranted to ensure the integrity of the judicial system and the efficient administration of justice. The motion to dismiss with prejudice is granted.
Yeah, he cried. He snuck that one out there. Yeah, I think that's a fair result there, guys. If only judges treated Brady violations that serious all the time. Because now there's a result. You screw up, this will happen. They won't do that again. In new news on this, this is where I think Alec Baldwin is going to have a rough time here. He's planning to sue people. He's going to sue Carrie Morrissey. And he's suing the sheriff. Yeah, that's not going to go anywhere. That's not going to go anywhere. Yeah, that's hilarious. I don't think Alec understands the idea of prosecutorial immunity is pretty much absolute. And the sheriff's going to have qualified immunity. Lol. So that's it. That's it. I don't blame him for wanting to sue them, but I don't know if he understands there's nothing he can do about that. I don't know if there's anything he can do about that. She's not going to lose her bar license. Prosecutors have done more heinous shit than that, and nothing ever happens to them. And Bella, you're saying, can we cover sport? Yes, we have, but not everybody saw it. Not everybody saw it. And I personally didn't cover it here on my channel, so just wanted to make sure people were aware. Jason's saying, what do you think is your get? And besides, Karen Reed needs like her own day, and tomorrow might be a good day for that because Karen Reed's got a lot of stuff to talk about. Guys, we're up to multiple jurors now who have said this didn't go the way it should have gone, and apparently there is more and more evidence that Judge Bev should have polled the jury to figure out what they were not guilty on, if anything. Jason saying, what's your guess on the ballpark? Probably like $2.5 million. I remember he had a prior case, like they indicted him, then dismissed it, then re-indicted him. That altogether, probably $2.5 million. It wouldn't surprise me if it's close to that. Remember, Alex Spiro is $2,000 an hour. Luke Nikas is probably $2,000 an hour. You know, those guys are very, very, very expensive. And Unknown Hero says, oh, I'm going to come. We might have President Kamala saying, do not come. Do not come. Alec Baldwin is a cocksucker for the prosecutor. Yes, that is now on record. Yes, and Hannah Reed is appealing. Well, Hannah Reed's not appealing the Brady stuff. She's bringing that up in a motion for a new trial. That has been filed. That's actually really interesting to read as well. We'll probably go over that at some point. But I think it's very, very, very important. And yes, it looks like Hannah should probably get a new trial and then a dismissal. Because this is a shitty, shitty way this all played out. All right, so moving on from there, guys, just really quick heads up on what was going to happen with Alec Baldwin. We got that done. All right, guys, the update of the Trump assassination, it sounds like the Secret Service aware there was a threat in the area for like 10 minutes and they didn't do anything about it. Like, oh no. Oh no. And then Michael is saying, what exactly did they withhold for the judge to dismiss with prejudice? That it looks like there were live rounds of ammunition that looked like the dummy rounds that could have been on set or were in the possession of Thel Reed and Seth Kenney. It's not 100% clear because the cops basically just brushed it all off and hid it. We don't really know, and that's part of the problem. Carrie and the police are saying, oh, this was never near the set. That's not how that works. We have to have investigation. But the police never investigated. Detective Ducklips was busy getting like lip filler instead. And then Where Tiger Ray saying, did you see the California judges that a 7-year-old wasn't old enough for the First Amendment to apply to them? Yes. Yes. And I saw that, and that is its own, that's very, very, that's a unique one. So, Anna Wall says he didn't check at all. Yes. But this reinforces the idea he shouldn't have had to have checked. Because the only way this could have happened is Seth Kenney introduced the live rounds Hannah had onto the set. You know, it could have been another party doing it. It's not Hannah anymore. Now it's the guy from the beginning. Like, who we don't really know. But either way, Alec Baldwin was denied his right to present a defense, and that's a big problem. So that's the issue for that. Moving on to Young Thug news. I mean, guys, remember Young Thug was appealing his orders with Judge Glanville, sought to have Judge Glanville recused. We covered this already, but just so you guys are aware, Judge Glanville has been recused. He was ordered recused by another judge in the courthouse, Judge Krause. Although there's a very interesting part of this that, and you guys heard me, this is bulldoze the building because I've got a lot of problems with this. And we went through it. She laid out all the things that happened. And let me see here. So she goes through it, and the biggest thing she says that really, I think, is very upsetting and concerning is her issue here. She says it's worth noting this court. Oof. She says it's worth noting this court agrees generally with Judge Glanville's assessment of the propriety of the ex parte meeting, meaning she's okay with it. She said, while the meeting could have and perhaps should have taken place in open court, nothing about it was inherently improper. That is scary. Another judge thought, this is okay. This is not a problem. But she gets down to the end of it, and she said that Yak Gotti's motion to have Judge Glanville recused is granted, and Young Thug's motion to have Judge Glanville recused is also granted. Kayla Bumpus's motion to recuse and quash the show cause orders are denied because they're moot. Okay, cool. And hopefully within the next week or so, reaching out to Doug Weinstein, and might be able to have him on. He's Yak Gotti's attorney, also known as DeMonte Kendrick. Talk about this. Guy seems really neat. Hopefully we can do that soon if their schedule allows it. Now from here, the case was reassigned to a different judge. And it was to a Judge Shakira Ingram. And things looked okay. Things didn't look too bad. Yet what did she do right away, chat? She recused. She recused herself. And this is interesting. This is an interesting recusal, chat. So she talks about a guy in June named Christian Eppinger. He was one of the 18 defendants severed from the ongoing RICO trial. Although there's no severance order in the record, this court was apprised of the circumstances that led to the severance. Specifically, the deputy assigned and responsible for the courtroom and personal security of the undersigned for nearly 6 months was arrested. Yes, guys, there were drug deals and things, all kinds of crap going down at the beginning of the Young Thug trial in the jury selection phase. You know, that's when the jurors were going to jail. The attorney was told, buy lunch for everybody. People were getting in trouble for all kinds of crap. So this said deputy, who is still assigned to Judge Ingram at the time of interest, was accused of colluding with the defendant to commit a felony and endangering the safety of citizens within the courthouse. And she said because of this, this assigned deputy could be called as a witness in any future proceeding, and the court may be called upon to assess his credibility or rule on matters related to her criminal prosecution. So while she says she doesn't believe this creates any bias, she does view this as a matter that could cause a reasonable person to question the court's impartiality and give rise to the appearance of impropriety. Remember this thing, the appearance of impropriety, chat? We talked about this all the time. The appearance of impropriety should be avoided at all costs. We don't want people thinking the courts are crooked. If only Judge Glanville thought about things this way, because that's how it should be. And she said, after careful consideration, she believes that it would look real sketchy if she supervised one of her bailiffs. And supervised, one of her bailiffs testifying that, look, these gangsters tried to transfer drugs at trial. Which is hilarious. But I will give her credit. She actually said, look, guys, I don't think I can be ethically honest, and it looks bad, so I'm going to do the right thing and say I'm out. If only Judge Glanville had done that. And I'll give her a golf clap. Like, thank you for doing the right thing. Thank you for doing the right thing. Plead the Fifth says, is she named after Tupac? I think she's a little older than that. I don't think so. So now it's getting assigned to another judge, and we don't know where it's going yet inside the Fulton County court system. We'll find out soon enough, though. Also, though, I think she just also will, I think she was happy this happened so she could bail. Because I would not want to be on this if I was her. I'd be like, nope, I'm out. I just want to get out of here. All right, where are we at here? Okay, that's done. Okay, other news, guys. We covered this when it happened. Senator Bob Menendez, he is the senator from New Jersey. He is also known for, he's known for his first corruption trial, where it became disclosed that he had a penchant for, young Dominican prostitutes who were likely underage. Walter is saying the new judge has already been selected. Perfect. We'll figure that out. But yes, so Senator Menendez had a prior corruption trial where he walked. And now they got him a second time around. And this time around was really bad. And guys, we covered this when they indicted him. He had bars of gold shoved in the shoes in his closet in his house. There was money shoved into jackets and suit jackets and coats hanging in his closet. This guy had money and crap everywhere. And we learned that he was selling military secrets to the Egyptian military. He was working basically as an unregistered foreign agent for Egypt. He was also involved with taking bribes to affect multiple things being sold and commercially traded into Egypt, including foodstuffs. This guy really went after everything. Yes, print your Menendez mags today. Yes, that's who it's named after. Yes, he still got elected in New Jersey. Yes, he did. He is the senior senator from New Jersey. He's seeking re-election as an independent. Although this guilty conviction is probably going to put a tamper on things for him. Darcy said that Doug said there's a hearing with the new judge tomorrow at 11:30. Good. And I forgot to mention with the Young Thug stuff, a couple of the defendants are asking for new bonds, getting their bonds modified so they can get out. Hopefully they do. Brent saying at least it's still to the Egyptians, not the Chinese. Oh, it's going to the Chinese anyway. Let's be real. So what happened to him today? Or what happened with him this week? So he was convicted, and this is actually really bad. It's actually not very good for him. This is a lot of bad stuff that's happened here. He was convicted on all 16 counts, and it was a 2-month trial. He's accused of bribery, acting as a foreign agent, and that's where, you guys, we talk about the FARA registrations you have to do right, obstructing justice, extortion, and conspiracy to commit all those crimes. So he's convicted on everything, and he said, and that we will be successful on appeal. Oh, I'm sure you will, buddy. I'm sure you will. I have never violated my public oath to office, except for all that money shoved in my coat jacket. Disregard that, chat. Don't worry, you'll learn the real story at some point. I'm sure he'll tell us. Yes, and since he's been convicted this week, he's been repeatedly called on to resign from Capitol Hill. We'll see what happens. If you guys didn't realize, New Jersey, yes, the senators are Democrats. And yes, he's facing sentencing October 29th. And it'll be interesting to see what the judge does, throwing a 70-year-old man into prison. So, yeah, we will see what happens. We will see what happens with him. I thought it was good. I think the evidence was pretty convincing. So we'll find out. We will find out what happens to him. Although, once again, don't hold your breath. We probably will see, once again, a 2-tier justice system. And I assume he'll probably get some sort of light sentence, like 6 months of like minimum security, or like in a labor camp, and then he's done. I can imagine something like that, or even less, like 90 days in jail. And the judge is gonna go, "Oh, you're so old, bro. And you're probably involved in getting me approved because you're a federal judge and you're a U.S. senator." Yeah. We'll see what happens, though. We'll see what happens. Actually, hold on. Judge Sidney Stein, did he involve in that one? Oh, well, this is an SDNY. Okay, so he didn't have any effect over that. Kat says, can the co-defendants have their money confiscated because they got it by ill-gotten gains? Oh, I'm sure the government sought forfeiture in a lot of things. And they will seek forfeiture in a lot of other stuff. But yes, when he got raided, they seized all the money. So I'm sure part of his sentencing is going to involve agreeing to give it all up. Oh, well, there we go. I'm sure. Oof, look at him. So, yes, he has until October 29th, which would be funny if he's running for election and the judge just says, like, prison, bam. There were 2 other people who were charged as well. A couple of peons. His wife was also charged, but she has not been standing trial because she's currently undergoing cancer diagnosis. So, treating cancer. Not like Boogie. Not like joke cancer. No, she's got real cancer, apparently. Or her doctors are good enough at lying. So, unlike Boogie, she's got real cancer issues. Oh. And then over on Rumble, real quick, Fractal Failure saying, I could fix her. You could be that 911 ladies treatment plan, I guess. Yeah, we'll find out what happens, though. We'll find out. He'll get better in Club Fed. Yeah, who does he think he is? Joe Biden? I know. That is a funny thing here. Sadly, that's not... It's kind of a joke. And then on a positive note, I think this is worth ending on a very positive and happy note. And I wanted to extend my thoughts out to people. Guys, if you remember, his name is Rob Dorr. He is, well, at the time he was in law school, but now he is out. He is a lobbyist for the Minnesota Gun Owners Caucus, but also working in a public defender's office. And we had him on to talk about not only just Second Amendment issues, But what is it like to actually be a lobbyist? And if you guys remember, I explained to you, it's a lot of long hours, a lot of driving, a lot of being all over the road. And from there, he's been leading the charge in Minnesota to get things changed. And in Minnesota, a big thing happened. A big thing happened. And this came out of the 8th Circuit for the United States Court of Appeals, which covers the state of Minnesota. And it was a couple different people, including the Minnesota Gun Owners Caucus, the Second Amendment Foundation, and then Matt Relosier's favorite group, the Firearms Policy Coalition. And they were going after the commissioner of the Minnesota Department of Public Safety and multiple parties. And then there were a lot of amicus briefs, like Everytown Gun Safety, Everytown for Gun Safety Action Fund, the Giffords Law Center to Prevent Gun Violence, the March for Our Lives Foundation, the Brady Center. A lot of people were there on behalf of the defendants, the appellants, trying to come in. The state of Connecticut, the state of Delaware, the state of Hawaii, the state of New York. There was some, not some good stuff there. And then on behalf of the appellees, the NRA. So what happened? Yeah, TLDR, the state of Minnesota had a ban on 18 to 20-year-olds carrying concealed weapons. And the permit to carry, because Minnesota's permit to carry statute said you had to be at least 21. Well, what does that mean for an 18-year-old? Sorry, womp womp. And they go through this with the Bruin and Rahimi analysis, and they just lay waste. Guys, this is a brutal. Also, I like how the 8th Circuit does this, where they like highlight and they bold and italicize like that. Makes it so easy to read, even for an attorney. I appreciate it. I appreciate it very, very much, chat. And ultimately, the state of Minnesota said, well, they're 18 to 20. They're not responsible. We're going to disarm them. And they tried to claim that we disarm crazy people and retards. And the court said, wait, you can't call 18 and 20-year-olds crazy and retards because they're just 18 to 20. So can Nick's 9-year-old legally carry? No. Jan, I thought I could give my 9-year-old a handgun. Yana, Nick Ricada said my 12-year-old could go toe to Roscoe. Anyways, they do a lot of ass kicking here, and ultimately they chug through this and they point out that states really didn't restrict 18 to 20-year-olds from carrying. They wanted them armed, and they were allowed to be armed. And they break it down really well, and they point out that the way the court has to consider things says why and how the regulation burns the right to carry are central to the inquiry. So they point out there's the how and the why. And they went through all of this, and they point out, and this is a very interesting thing here, you just can't deem a group of people dangerous based solely on their belief. Because otherwise the government could say everybody's dangerous and regulate all guns. You know, just saying that everybody in this cohort, the 18 to 20-year-old cohort, is a threat, but automatically when they reach the age of 21, boom, no longer a threat. Doesn't make any sense. Does not make any sense. The state of Minnesota gets BTFO'd all the way through this. And they point out you can't claim every 18 to 20-year-old is like a mentally ill person. You know, they fail to meet their standards. And because of that, the judgment is affirmed. So, congrats if you're in Minnesota. This is actually good news. I doubt this gets appealed up further, or even if they do, are they going to get certiorari, the state of Minnesota? I don't think they will. I don't think they will. So good news to the state of Minnesota. Good news to Rob and the Minnesota Gun Owners Caucus. Congratulations, you guys. I'm glad you kicked some ass and got some good results there. Brent says, you have no idea how nuts Minnesota has gotten. Well, yeah, it is. You guys, Minnesota has what's called the Farm Labor Party instead of the Democrat Party. And that's what they call it. It's called the Farm Labor Party. Can 18-year-olds join the Army? Yes. And if an 18-year-old is in the National Guard and given a gun as part of his duties, well, he's now exempt from the law. So if he's carrying a gun as part of his job, that's okay. The Farm Labor Party, yes, that's very much, it's almost communist, like the worker and the farmer together. The worker with the hammer and the farmer with the sickle. It's like they've already done this one before. It's like they've already done this. So, congratulations in Minnesota. I'm sure this is actually going to be well for you guys. And that is it. We are all caught up for tonight. I'm glad I tried to limit how long we're going to go just because I knew Trump was going to go, but not that long. Jesus Christ. That was long. Very impressive, but I'm glad he did it. Giorgio says, does that apply if you enlist for law enforcement? Nope. Those laws are always waived. That 18 to 20-year-olds could possess firearms if the government tells you to do it. The government always exempts itself from that. So, guys, we are all done here. Tomorrow, I'd like to go over what's going on with Karen Reed. There's a lot there. This weekend, we're going to start looking into this Black Swan murder thing. This ballerina is accused of murdering her husband. And I don't know if it's like she did some sick dance moves and like broke his ankles and the guy fell down and cracked his skull or something. We'll look into this together. I don't really know anything about it. I guess it starts next week. We'll start looking into that. Reach out to the young thug lawyers. I'm hoping we can get something there because I would love to pick their brain on this. Are we doing locals tonight? Oh, hell yeah, we are. We're shortly going to do not a super long local show tonight, but we will do it. We will do it. And yes, 10K view, the military, National Guard, police duties, anything the government does is always exempted. And I just want to make sure I caught all the super chats. Yep, no, we're all caught up. So, guys, yes, thank you for being here. I appreciate it. We're going over to locals. Remember, guys, it's over at potentiallycriminal.locals.com. You can use the promo code. And I will see you there. And tomorrow night, yeah, we will be doing more stuff. Got something in the morning, kind of big. It'll be kind of fun. And yeah, remember until next time, chat. Just because you did it doesn't mean you're guilty. Good night, everybody. Even Alec Baldwin, he's still not guilty. And that's going to be permanent now. So good night, everybody. Take care.
Blacksmithing and models of planes, esoteric works and even some trains. Much merriment had while drinking White Claws, tips on hunting and even talking the law. Whatever you do, just don't talk to cops, even when they nab you on illegal stops. Just 'cause you did it doesn't mean you're guilty. But please talk to a local attorney. Was that the